to a national average price of $2.97 for regular. Since mid-January, there's been a 66 cents per gallon surge in the price, and in the prior 2 weeks, there was a 13-cent jump. So this nickel is greatly slowed, and there are reasons to suppose that the price might now be peaking.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg. And Russian authorities saying at least 13 people died in a fire on an airplane that made an emergency landing at an airport in Moscow. This is Fox News.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
We have some really great home loan programs, but did you know we have great business loans too? Every day we're working with companies to purchase equipment, to buy or build properties, or make tenant improvements. We offer letters of credit, working capital, and term loans, and we make all of our credit decisions here. Commercial loans, commercial banking from Bank Pacific.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
President Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen reports to federal prison tomorrow.
He'll serve 3 years for tax evasion, lying to Congress, and campaign finance violations. Cohen famously made hush money payments to Stormy Daniels and former Playboy model Karen McDougal on President Trump's behalf ahead of the 2016 presidential election.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. Cohen at one point said he would take a bullet for the president, but later called his former client a racist, a con man, and a cheat. Lawmakers in Illinois planning to introduce legislation tomorrow legalizing recreational marijuana. The measure allows people 21 and older to buy pot from licensed dispensaries. Residents could possess up to about an ounce of marijuana. Horse racing fans are still trying to make sense of an unprecedented ending at the Kentucky Derby.
For about 20 minutes, Maximum Security, their horse, was declared the victor of the 2019 Kentucky Derby. The video clearly shows the horse crossing the finish line well ahead of his competitors, but then confusion and even uproar as 2 jockeys filed objections saying Maximum Security broke the rules and basically cut them off during the race. Spectators and participants held their breath for the official decision, and for the first time in Kentucky Derby history, the winning horse was disqualified. Maximum Security out. Country House declared the new victor.
Fox's Matt Finn at Churchill Downs, the co-owner of Maximum Security, says he may appeal the decision. People sure like to party on Cinco de Mayo. But do they exactly know why?
Many apparently believe Cinco de Mayo is to honor Mexican independence, but that's actually celebrated September 16th. May 5th, though, is for the Battle of Puebla between the Mexican and French armies back in 1862. A small but inspiring victory for Mexico led to the holiday. Celebrated with military parades, folk dancing, street parties, traditional food and drink. In the U.S., a lot of the same.
Fox's Leslie Lotto. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Get a half-gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half-gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take my ex-girlfriend, just checking in.
Aw.
Hey, David, it's me, just checking in. I'm doing great. Just got the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap from Subway. Creamy guacamole, smoky sweet Wahio mesquite sauce, and double the tender steak. They just know what I want before I do. So, yeah, things are going pretty great for me. Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub. Okay, bye.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 474 915-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Afternoon, good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Guam Fire Department spokeswoman Charika Chargaloff this morning reporting a serious injury accident on Route 3 near the NCS Dededo Shell Station. Medics responded to a 911 call at 2:48 a.m. One patient with serious injuries was transported to GRMC. No word on the condition of that patient, and no further details are available at this time. The Southern High School student accused in last Thursday's theft of a firearm from a vehicle parked at the Southern High campus is being charged as an adult. 17-year-old Christian Kinata appeared before Superior Court Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan Saturday. According to the complaint, he is alleged to have broken into two pickup trucks parked at the school. Complaint says a teacher told police he went to check on his white pickup shortly after noon Thursday, found that the personal belongings he had kept in a black pouch were missing. He told another teacher, who then went and checked his own black pickup and found it too had been broken into. Guam DOE officials last week said the loaded weapon was stolen from a school employee's vehicle. That led to an hour-long lockdown at the school that lasted until the firearm was recovered inside a girls' restroom at the school. It was a Smith & Wesson .357 caliber revolver. The magistrate complaint states that two students told police they saw Kinata holding a silver handgun that same day. Kinata told police he broke into both trucks searching for items to steal, according to the complaint. But Kinata claims he only stole some change from the white pickup and didn't take anything from the black pickup. The complaint also reveals that Kinata admitted to using crystal meth and marijuana. Kinata initially denied taking the firearm, but later admitted to having it, but said he found it inside a bag in the parking lot. The complaint does not reveal who owned the weapon. However, police say an investigation is underway to determine whether any charges will be filed against the employee from whose car or pickup the gun was stolen. Takecare Insurance Company has filed a formal protest with the Department of Administration over the bidding process for the GovGuam Group Health Insurance contract. In a release to the media yesterday, Takecare accuses Guam Regional Medical City of attempting to coerce Takecare into not only accepting higher rates than what GRMC charges other local insurers, but also trying to bully Takecare into covering all its members at GRMC, not just GovGuam employees and retirees. In its protest, Takecare asserts the request for proposals issued by the Department of Administration and required by Public Law 35-2 are in violation of various laws. It asks for the RFP to be canceled and revised to comply with the law. In addition, Takecare wants the health insurance contract procurement to be stayed and no award of a group health insurance contract awarded until the protest is resolved. Takecare's protest was filed on Friday, which was the deadline for submitting bids. The only two health insurers who did submit bids Friday were Calvo Select Care and Aetna. GRMC has not yet responded to a request for comment. We'll have more news after this.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Miles sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2 million miles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstake starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler Motor Trend SUV of the year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000 or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Major General Esther Agagi officially assumed the title of Adjutant General of the Guam National Guard in a ceremony yesterday. During that ceremony at the Guard Readiness Center, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, the first woman to become governor of Guam, declared it was her honor to appoint the first Chamorro female Adjutant General of Guam. Today marked a historic event, said the governor. In her remarks, Agagi, who was a lieutenant colonel prior to her new job, pledged to look after the welfare of the Guam Guard soldiers, airmen, civilians, and families. Agagi is the 11th Adjutant General for the Guam National Guard since its establishment nearly 38 years ago. Also yesterday, Chief Master Sergeant Philip Tyron assumed responsibility as Command Chief of the Guam Air National Guard. Tyron stepped down in the role vacated by Chief Master Sergeant John Kinata, who is now Deputy Executive Manager of the Guam International Airport. Department of Agriculture Director Chelsea Munya-Brecht reminding island residents that it is illegal to sell octopus on island. You are allowed to catch octopus for personal consumption, said Brecht, but you cannot sell them. Article 3 of Chapter 12 of the Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations states that marine invertebrates shall not be sold, traded, or bartered. Anyone caught selling octopus is subject to a fine of $250. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Let's see what we got here. Mostly sunny with isolated showers today. Winds from the east up to about 15 miles an hour. Highs near 89 degrees. And overnight lows should be about 78 degrees. Sunset tonight right about where it was last night, 6:37. Sunrise came up this morning at 5:58. And now we take a look at the weather radar and see why it's going to be so warm today. There's nothing between us and the sun.
There really isn't. Just some showers passing down to the south, but nothing in line to affect us very much. Much different story than yesterday at about this time. Had some nice showers move over the south and kind of dampen things out, which was useful with the fire danger continuing to climb. And well, this lack of rainfall will show that that will be the case right on through the week. Yeah. Looking at satellite, we can see there's just not a whole lot around. We are seeing some upper clouds that might kind of move on over the area. The blobbage off to the southwest is actually that Invest at 90W. It's not going to form into anything, but it is kind of a focus point for some showers and stuff. It's supposed to move away, so we don't have to worry much about that. There is some blobbage down to the southeast, though. It hasn't been designated yet, but the Weather Service talking about that, and the forecast model showing that area moving close to us this weekend, perhaps bringing some rain. We'll keep an eye on it and let you know if that's going to work out.
Okay, well, Mother's Day weekend, so let's be very, very careful with what happens with the weather. Keep an eye on that so we know whether we're doing brunch inside or outside this year. 6:15 in the morning, that's news and weather together here on 93.3. The Point, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
I'm Edward James Olmos, here to remind you that the second Saturday in May is the annual Letter Carrier Food Drive. The need for food assistance remains high in communities across America, but you can help. Simply leave a bag of non-perishable food near your mailbox on the second Saturday in May, and your letter carriers will do the rest. All food collected stays within your local community. So on the second Saturday in May, please join me and the National Association of Letter Carriers and stamp out hunger.
I think it's a good plan. 6:15 in the morning, portions of the Ray Gibson Show. Sunrise, sunset portions brought to you by my friends over at American President Lines. APL is shipping the future. Also, Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. And if you woke up with the hungries this morning, my recommendation, crazy 19 menu at King's. Madcap, zany, all kinds of different new and flavorful ways to enjoy breakfast at King's.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Hagutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show also being brought to you by GRMC. That's Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs. Cars Plus, Joey, Jan, and Dudge, and your new ride is waiting for you to come and select it from among hundreds, thousands of cars, maybe over at the Cars Plus lot in Mighty. Also brought to you by Nanbo Insurance, where, you know what, you buy that car over at Nanbo, and here's what we want you to do. We want you to insure that and your motorcycle and your house and your business and everything with Nanbo, and they'll find a way to bundle everything up. Could save you up to 50% for your 2019 insurance bill at Nanbo.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
The best thing about the advent of telephone technology that has cameras in it is it seems to me that everybody's got ready access to a means to be able to take a great picture of a morning sunrise, like Michael Knight did. He went outside just a few minutes ago, just as the sun was wanting to peek over the horizon. You start to see some changes in the colors on the clouds that we've got. Just another gorgeous Guam sunrise.
Yes, we were standing out there talking. It was before this particular moment. You were like, "Wow, it's kind of disappointing this morning." And if you'd have just stayed out there 15 more seconds, man, because that's when I took the picture.
Yeah, and it's what the thing we got to do is we got to get rid of the telephone poles in the buildings in a way, because otherwise it'd be a much better picture. But from the perch that you've got for that's a great way to start the day and a great way to start the Mother's Day week.
I'll just bring my ladder tomorrow and take it from the top of the building.
Work on that, or maybe we'll just move the radio station to someplace where we can see the sunrise every morning.
That's good.
It might take a couple of dollars. I'll talk with the other partners about it and see what they've got to say. But if it's not the sunrise, I tell you what, we had a spectacular sunset. One of the guys on Facebook Live already talking about what a great sunset it was over by a Lupang. And if we were over at Jimmy D's helping them celebrate Cinco de Mayo yesterday with the cats from Star 101, and it got to be sunset. And now this is just one of, I don't know, a half dozen pictures that I took over the course of the sun going down yesterday. And every time I took it, it was a whole different sunset.
You should smile in your sunset pictures.
No.
You look angry.
I wanted that kind of Negan, what's the name from the dude from Walking Dead? Negan.
I don't know.
Nagano. I don't know what the guy's name is, but I kind of wanted that kind of frosty look with the sun setting in the background.
You look like a crab got a hold of your toe.
Well, just, run out of beer or something. What do you mean I have to go home? No. There's still booze to be had. There's still fun to be had over at the place. And there certainly was. Let me just see if I can get all of us back on the cameras here and see what's going on. Anyway, so Monday morning, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. My buddy Michael Knight gets the phone when you call him at 888-8255. That is 888-TALK. Hey, you know what? Let me just make this offer. If you were out already this morning and, like Michael Knight, took a picture of the sunrise, send it in. And you know what? We might want to do this every morning. Just tell you, tomorrow morning, get up a little bit extra earlier and go outside. And while you're waiting for this program to begin, because it's going to happen at a couple of minutes away from 6 o'clock. While you're waiting for this program to begin, go ahead and snap a picture of what sunrise looks like in your neighborhood and WhatsApp it to us at 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Now, if you're very creative, you might be able to do one of those sunrise selfies, like I did with the sunset selfie last night, and that'll be all right. Just do whatever it is that you got to do to pretty yourself up for a morning picture. 988-5874 is the WhatsApp. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post with a look at all the big stories. We'll get another round of headlines before too much longer. And I don't know how you do it. Kevin, it would seem to me it's managing editor stuff. I guess they teach you that in managing editor school, is how you decide what order to do your stories in. Is there any method or madness, Kev, to how that happens? Because I know it's not random. I mean, you want to get the big stories up in the top, right?
You're right.
But you know what?
That's where you put the big stories.
Yeah, you go with the solid lead. But the question I've got for you is, some days we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stories. How do you decide which one ought to be the first or second?
Flip a coin.
Just flip a coin.
Sure.
All right. Well, use the old school traditional method. There's Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post, and as I said, we'll get some more headlines. There's a ton of stuff to talk about here in the morning's review of all weekend's activities. Plus stuff that's kind of filtered in. People know who I am, and they say, "Hey Ray, have you heard about this?" Or "Did you see this?" And then they'll send me a picture or something like that. And gives me opportunity and free range to do some riffing, and we'll get to the riffing. But first, I got to do what I consider to be one of the more important parts of the program, and that's saying hi to my friends.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Ismael Miquel is back in first place. One of the first voices was able to make some kind of commentary, and then everybody else kind of chimed in. And now I'm looking at it from kind of, I don't know, the middle of it. So if I'm not saying good morning to you here, it's because I can't see your name. I know you're there. Carlos Barreto's online. Yeah, we had a good time on Saturday night over at the Chamber Gala. Jeff Pleadwell from Pirates Cove. I got Ryan Hawaiian, who really should be asleep right now. He's going to do the afternoon show over on Star 101 a little bit later on. Letitia Lujan. Good morning, Scott Nelson. Melissa Salas Akimoto is there. Linda Gabriel. Diana Rose from up in Washington State chiming in this morning. I got Anita Muffness with her Valentine's eyes. Who else is on? James Martinez. Hey, cuz, nice to see you. John Torres. And, John, before you start asking about refunds, now, there are a couple of things that are going to be going on here. We're looking for a kind of a joint statement before too much longer, I believe, from Dafne Shimizu and Mr. Ed Byrne over at the Department of Administration. A little bit of clarification maybe on 2018 returns that might have been part of that bundle of checks that went out last week, and what we're going to be doing about 2018 returns here this week. There's supposed to be something coming out today on that, but there's other Rev Tax business that's going to be that will be making headlines, and I've got a little bit of information on it. We might have some new B&B information, as in bed and breakfast and enforcement conversations. We've got Dafne Shimizu going to be on the radio a little bit later on this morning to talk about that. So give me some time, give them some time to come up with some of the information about tax refunds for 2018, and I'll try to get all the information square on the radio for you. Tim Lujan is on. Joette Cruz says, good morning, Ray, Mike, and Kev. So it's illegal to sell Gumpson, but what about all the stores that are doing it and have been doing it ever since? What are the penalties? You know what? I don't know what they're going to be doing about that. I don't. I'm trying to think of what stores I go to or have been in that have octopus. Generally, it's Payless. But I was complaining a couple of weeks ago because the last couple of times I've been in a Payless, specifically to get octopus to cut up and turn into Kelligwin, they haven't had it. Or in the case a couple of weeks ago, they did have it, but it wasn't the $11 pack. It was the $6 pack. So that would mean I'd need to buy two $6 packs to replace what I would have gotten in the $11 pack. And then the other thing was, it wasn't the tentacly parts of the octopus. It was kind of a weird head, kind of web, kind of wasn't the parts that I want. I like the tentacles. That's my favorite part of the octopus for making Kelligwin. But as far as I know, the Kelligwin that Payless gets, I think that comes from someplace else. I don't think it's harvested here locally. I think it comes someplace else, kind of already pre-boiled and ready to eat from there, not necessarily around here. But I'll see what I can learn as far as penalties that may be applied. I don't know, backwards to people that have been doing it. Kind of hard to enforce that, and what the heck if nobody from the Department of Agriculture ever went into the stores and said, oh, by the way, you're not supposed to be selling that. That's only for family consumption, individual consumption, and not for sale, unless there has been some clear enforcement of those rules and regulations. I don't know that there would be much of a case to be made on enforcement and penalties to apply. Eric McKinnon says, drive safe, Guam. Always good advice. Jose Martinez. Rot Rose Greeno. Sharky Eddie Cruz is up already. Commissioner Roy Gamboa is online. Rico Blancaflor. What about the octopus they sell over at the co-op? Okay, so remember I prefaced it with places that I go? I haven't been through the front door of the co-op in a couple of years. The last time I was there, me and my brother and our fishing buddy, through the back door, gave them all of the fish that we caught that we didn't have room in the freezers for. So I don't know about that. Lady D says, got the smoking lamp lit and digging out the coffee grounds and getting ready to turn to and light the fires. Well, here we go. Hopefully we'll get you some good fire lighting material this morning. Heather Perez, Carmeleon Guerrero, Randy Kruger is there, Rico Blancaflor, Joe Ed Cruz again. Oh, boy. Payless better remove all the octopus or they are exempt. Again, it depends on where they're getting that stuff from. John St. Nicholas is online with his good morning wishes. Richard Leon, good morning. Bert Duarte, if they remove one leg, is it still an octopus? Roy, I like the way you're thinking here this morning. I like that. Alex Aflagui is on. Bert Duarte with his Hafaday Guan. Did you get any pictures of pretty girls over the weekend, Bert? Who else? Yes, if they get confiscated. I guess I will have to start catching my own. And Dwayne Santos chiming in, wow, who knew it was illegal to sell octopus? Now what will those that are making a living selling octopus do? Oh, my. Oh, it do what we fully expect everybody will do in a situation like that is turn to a life of crime. Simon Sanchez, good morning, buddy. Good to see Mo Cotton's online. Mo's here. We can get started. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, who invited me to a party on Saturday night, and I really just, timing, because Saturday night we had the Chamber Gala, and I needed to be there before 6 o'clock, and that was when Carl's party was getting started with all kinds of dignitaries, movers and shakers, and headlines makers from the Philippines that were out here on some kind of a trade mission with Carl. And I was trying to ponder in my head, how can I get to the Hyatt by way of PIC and stop it in just for a quick drink and a hello with these guys, and it just couldn't make it go. But if you want, you can give me a sit report and tell me what you learned from these guys and any opportunities that they might be bringing to Guam with them. Rick Leone is online. I got Pam Duvall. Got a picture from Pam I'm going to share with you in a second. Patty Santiago. Ken LG talking about sunrises from the top of Mount Machetse as the midnight shift ended were the best. Does that make any sense to you? It makes no sense to me. What's a midnight shift?
Oh, that'd be graveyard.
He's talking about...
so you get off at 6 in the morning, and yeah, there you go. Stupid,
Ray. I'm sitting here thinking maybe it's some kind of cosmic thing like the solstice,
It's Monday. It's okay.
It's, we had the midnight shift, and the summer solstice turned into the spring solstice. And our crystals were dilated just right on the midnight shift.
As we waited by the wall.
Overnight. Yeah. Okay, I got you. I remember doing those. Joe Leasea-Long is there. Partner Richard Yu is online. Manami Ijima Martin is online with us this morning. All right, so Manami, what was it? What was Manami's advice last week? Was it okay to eat hot dogs? No, chicken skin. It was chicken skin. That's what it was. And as I said, if the fastest woman on Guam says it's okay for you to eat chicken skin, then it's all right. I see Mark Mendiola's on, Eunice Mendiola, Bob Kelly. What happens to Octopus Kelly over at the Fisherman's Co-op? I don't know. Let's see if we can get Manny Duenas on the line and see what he knows. Did the mayor help Ken Leon Guerrero and his GWA hoopla? Is a question from Richard Leon. And the response is, right now, mayors tend to avoid me. I love that. All right. Well, let's see what else is going to be going on. Thanks, everybody. Dave Evans is online already this morning, and that's good. Play me a guitar song, why don't you? 628, 629. Headlines coming up around the corner. But Pam sends me an email. And I guess it was on Facebook or a WhatsApp or something that she had sent about, and it's another one of these guys at the bus stop kind of pictures that she wanted to send to me, and I think this up in Jigo, I think is where you might be able to find. I could zoom in on this a little bit, see if I can get a little bit tighter on the scene. Now there's a guy in there. His pants are all the way up, but he apparently has taken up residence in this bus stop as well, and questionable whether all of the trash in the area belongs to him or whether it's just a trashed, bombed-out bus stop that this guy figures, well, nobody cares about this place, so it might be some place where I can lay my my hat.
Who could blame him for thinking that? Look at the weeds all growing up around the thing. I mean, It looks like clearly no one cares about it. So, that's where I'd camp out, too.
This will be my house.
You see little sprinkles of water on the lens of the camera, so clearly it was raining, had to hide somewhere.
Yep. So, tough morning for somebody, and there's the deal. So the question is, I suppose it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to start talking about even more. I want to say Guam Daily Post was asking the questions about bus shelters and how we really need to do better by way of making these places safe and more welcoming and cleaner for the kids in the community that are using them.
My suggestion would be that the mayors get a new position within their little realm, like a public safety officer. He's almost like a constable. You know, maybe and maybe even go through the legislature and have somebody given that at least that kind of power where they can go and issue citations, clear people out of bus stops.
The mayors can do that. The mayors have,
but clearly they're too busy because they're not getting it done. So they need to hire someone that has the time to do it.
They are what do they call that? Peace officers. By law, all mayors are peace officers. Right. So they have all of the tools and all the legal backup to do what's required. See all those bags of trash around the bus shelter. All of those bags of trash. You know, there's nothing that would prevent the mayor or somebody working at the mayor's office to go through those bags of trash, see if there's something in there that will identify who throw it there.
Well, I agree. Evidently, the mayors don't know whose job that is because evidently that's not their job. They're the mayor. They're too important to get out there and start pointing out trash piles.
Well, if you're talking about mayor up in Chico, talk to the Chico residents.
I'm just stirring the pot.
Yeah, I know about how they feel about that guy and his ability to get things done. But everybody can say something like that about their mayors. My guy, my guy up there, I tell you what, he's awesome. And maybe I'll on the way home today take pictures of my bus shelters in between where I live and clear on down to Mighty over by the laundromat. You take a look at any bus stop and it looks like they dropped it off yesterday. They're all clean. I don't see too much graffiti in there. There's only one over behind Benson's that I'd say anything about, and that's because it has somebody left an old tire behind it, and nobody's picked it up yet. But otherwise, very, very clean and in great shape for the kids in the neighborhoods to be using. Anyway, so that's one of the things we can all get riled up about on a Monday morning. Not good enough for you? Need more? There's got to be something else to get riled up about, Ray. Okay, we'll get a primer on that in the headlines, and then we'll talk about some of the other stuff in the table of contents. First, here's Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, Senator Kelly Marsh wants the Department of Parks and Recreation to reassess its budget to ensure it has enough funding to keep Guam's parks and bathrooms clean. Marsh, whose committee oversees DPR, said she would support an increased appropriation for the agency if it needs it to keep those restrooms clean around the island. Marsh said she has called on DPR for a realistic and responsible reassessment of its staffing needs. DPR's current budget is $3.4 million. Acting DPR Director Richard Ibanez telling the Post last week that a contract has been awarded to Guam Cleaning Masters for cleaning and maintenance of the island's parks and restrooms. He said that work should begin in June. 52-year-old Vincent John Meno pleading not guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition and notice of forfeiture. Meno appeared in district court Thursday of last week to answer to an indictment handed down by a federal grand jury in April. According to court documents, Meno was accused of possessing a .38 caliber pistol and 6 assorted rounds of ammunition for it. According to court records, Meno has an extensive record of arrests, including a charge of illegal possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and possession of a concealed firearms without an ID dating back to 2017. District Court Magistrate Judge Joaquin Manabusan scheduling trial for Meno on July 9th. The Drug Enforcement Agency took in a record amount of unused and unwanted prescription drugs during the recent National Prescription Drug Take-Back Initiative on Guam and in the CNMI. DEA resident agent in charge, Edward Talbot, said through the community's efforts and the Post-Guam's efforts as well, we seized 200 pounds more than we did last year. In all, 675.5 pounds were collected during the Take-Back campaign on Guam, Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. Talbot called it historic. He said it's never been done before. It's the most we have ever had turned in, he said. National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is part of a larger effort to reduce the abuse of prescription medicines. It was the territory's 9th year participating in the program. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
6:35, that's iConnect time. Kevin, swing by the nearest iConnect and ask them about great plans, great rates they have that are suited perfect for people like you. Maybe just want to make a phone call, take a picture of sunrise and WhatsApp it to Ray Gibson. Don't need to spend an arm and a leg to get that kind of quality, so call them today at iConnect and find out how.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Beneventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Here's version 1 of the Cold Stone Creamery Mother's Day commercial. Show all the moms in your life how much you care this Mother's Day. With an ice cream cake from Cold Stone Creamery, indulge in our new Oreo Cookies and Cream Extreme or the classic local favorite, Strawberry Passion. Order today. Yes, order today. Limited availability at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Go now. It's nice on the roadways. Looking from the south to the north, don't see a whole lot happening on Marine Corps Drive. Over by Navy Base in Sumai should be clear, running all the way up into the downtown Agatnia area. Route 4 absolutely clean. Route 15 looking pretty good on the eastern side of the island. Let me see, moving west as you get closer to 10 and 15. Yeah, still not too busy. 10 is running. Route 8 is looking pretty good in both directions. Route 16 from the Ocean Vista 76 looking pretty good. Both directions of Airport Road. We're seeing some traffic, but seems to be flowing all right. Don't see anything major in the Dededo and Jigo area. Certainly nothing going to slow you down any more than an intersection with a light. That's right now traffic here at 637 on The Point.
If you're driving, chances are you'll need gas soon. And by the growl in your tummy, a trip to the grocery store too. But don't just buy gas and groceries without getting double miles. Instead, apply for the new United credit card from First Hawaiian Bank and start earning double miles towards your next trip. Gas, groceries, getaway. With the new United credit card, apply at FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Got some posting to do. I got to add a whole bunch of stories on Facebook. I was looking at some pictures that I started taking, and you want to talk about just a zany weekend here. A lot of stuff going on. I had a lot of stuff going on. I can only imagine that your schedule was pretty hectic as well. It got to be, that I got to hang out the other night with last week for a fundraiser, 76 Circle K, and the celebrity waiter kind of contest fundraiser that we had. That was Thursday night, and then got to be Friday night. Is that Thursday or Wednesday? I can't remember. Anyway, got to be Friday night, and then that was Habitat for Humanity's quiz night, and another 60 some odd tables at the Sheraton filled with just some really, really incredible people, certainly very generous people, and certainly very smart people. And we had a couple of come from behinds. Most of the evening, it looked like the same 2 or 3 teams were locked in a pitched battle for first and second place. And then it got to be in the final tally. It turned out to be a table that nobody was even looking at. But I guess you double down and you do your spelligans in the right place and you handle everything strategically. Everybody's got pretty much an equal shot of winning, depending on how many of the correct answers you know to all of the interesting questions that we were asking that night at quiz night. So that was fun. And then it got to be Saturday, and as I said, Saturday night was the Chamber Gala, and that was held over at the Hyatt. Really good food, really good company. Got a chance to sit down with what I think everybody is now comfortably referring to as the first dude, and that would be Jeff Cook. And Jeff got there before Governor Lou Leon Guerrero did, because she was off doing something else. She told me where she was, but it was a noisy table for a conversation, so it didn't sink in. And the question that I had was, well, Jeff, if Jeff's here and Lou's here and Josh is here, who's watching Gutierrez? And they said, oh, no, he's okay. We know what he's up to over at the place with the Filipino businessmen and dignitaries. And like I said, I might be able to get some kind of conversation going on that in just a little bit. So conversation and where we got started in the last segment of the program before we got into headlines, talking about our bus shelters that we have here on Guam, and we've got some nice ones. You know, virtually all over the island. I forget what the count was. I mean, I kind of sort of knew what it was back when what's his name, Ray Tenorio was the lieutenant governor of Guam and in charge of the Island Beautification Task Force. One of the things that they did was they went out and would find, say, corporate sponsors that would adopt a bus shelter, spruce the place up, put a coat of paint on, and get your logos out. There's still a whole bunch of them. And then there were a whole bunch of bus stops that for which it doesn't look like there was anybody supposed to be maintaining it. And the one that I've got up on the screen right now on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, etc., I don't know. It's got a Government of Guam logo, and it's got the Guam seal in there. So maybe I'm presuming that maybe somebody at least did a tiny bit of spruce work on this one and then just kind of never went back. So who's the responsibility for all of this? DPW, you heard Vince Areola, or at least you heard me read his comments about it. And it's just that, well, there's a lot of people on Guam that like to live like pigs. So they don't have a problem trashing the bus stops, or some of the other public places that we've got here. But if we can't get Vince Areola and his guys over at DPW to do something about it, is it the mayor's problem? Is it the residents? Do the residents in the villages need to do something about it? So I don't know. We need to figure out whose neck needs to be grabbed about this. Otherwise, it's just going to be for what it looks like now, a homeless shelter for some guy. Yeah, maybe just trying to get out of the rain. But I don't know. I've seen a couple of posts. I've seen a couple of comments on posts about this. About maybe this is the guy's like permanent residence. How do you get your mail? Well, they just drop it off at the bus stop and pick it up over there. Call the pizza company? Yeah, send over a couple of
No, he probably has a post office box, and of course he has a cell phone too, which is why he can't pay rent.
As long as I've got a cell phone, as long as I got my vape going, that's the two requirements for certain people around here. 888-825-5888-TALK. I promised I was going to take a look and see what some of the commentary was. Bus stops for tourists. GVB or private company, bus stops for public transit, Guam Transit, and bus stops for school children, GDOE. Just saying, says Dwayne Santos. Smart and supposed professional people don't comment on this program. They don't want to be confronted. Who else is there? They got all this prescription drugs because people are now using cannabis, the safer choice. They leave that out of the story on purpose. James, they've done that story about the drug take-back program for 1,000 years here on Guam, and I don't think that they've ever looked at an increase of the number of drugs being turned in as a result of the availability of recreational or medical cannabis.
It doesn't have much to do with it. It's prescription drugs mostly.
Yeah. And we got a big opioid crisis now, and I think there's a lot of people that are thinking maybe the fewer of these chemicals around, the better. There was and I don't know if this really happens or if it's just one of those very alarming things that you see on the internet every once in a while, kind of fake news that says what teenagers will do. I know it's scary, right? What teenagers will do at their party, and you're going, oh God, what now? Is a story. I remember somebody telling me about this in an old talk radio gig where they'll raid their parents' medicine chests and come over and to a party, and everybody will dump whatever drugs they've got into a bowl, and then you grab a handful of the drugs and you pop them all at the same time. And I'm thinking that couldn't possibly be real. And then we start hearing about kids that are eating Tide Pods. And that's the one, friends, where it really is a good idea to every once in a while check your kids' phones, take a look at the pictures that are in there, and find out who they're conversing with on the regular.
Yeah, the whole free-for-all pill grab isn't a problem until you're 14 years old and you're growing breasts because you ate your mom's, child.
Yeah, hormone pills. Good Lord. Rolling on the floor laughing, says Lady D. Asking the mayors to do something? Well, maybe if you gave them a raise. Kaz Endo, Henry Gonzalez, Dave Evans is actually in South Carolina right now. That's right. I thought I saw a picture of you doing some traveling, visiting the boy off in college. Ken LG posting Friday, May the 10th at 4 p.m. The CCU board managers and top leadership at GPA and GWA will be explaining to the public why they deserve raises and bonuses greater than a lot of people make at their job. The public is invited. It should be a very interesting meeting. Still time to sign the petition against giving raises and bonuses for just doing the jobs they're overpaid to do in the first place. And he left the link in there, so apparently that is your invitation to click on that and go and put it on paper or out there in the world what you think about raises at GWA and GPA. Hey, Michelle Peer is online. Pam Duvall says he gets his mail from the mayor. All right, a lot of asides, a lot of back and forth on this. As I said, we'll see what the real deal is on this and whose neck we get to grab for this bus shelter. 6:46 in the morning. 888-8255-888-TALK. Big deal going on with GWA starting tonight. They're going to be unveiling their 5-year plan before the public in the first of 1, 2, 3, I believe, town halls. Their general manager, Miquel Bordallo, is on the phone. Good morning, Miguel.
Good morning, Ray.
How you doing there? Did you have a good weekend?
It was a busy weekend, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the meat of the matter. I don't know, because there are going to be people that are listening that aren't going to be able to make any of these town halls. So could you give me a kind of an executive summary on your 5-year plan?
Sure. So we actually unveiled it and rolled it out with advertisement in the paper and then posted it on our website. So it's been out for a few weeks now. And essentially, the 5-year financial plan captures our estimates and projections for our operation and maintenance expenses over the next 5 years. It also incorporates the first 5 years of our recently adopted 20-year master plan. Mm-hmm. And so we take that the first 5 years of that, and then we've made some adjustments to that to account for regulatory priorities that need to be addressed. And based on that 5-year CIP, we figure out what we need in order to get all those projects done. And that's the contents of the 5-year financial plan, which outlines the revenue required in order to meet our objectives.
Okay.
And the main point to consider in that 5-year CIP is we're continuing the progress that we've made since 2006. And some of those projects that are needed are still court order requirements. So there's a large chunk of that we need to get finished to complete the court order. And the other things that are in there are ongoing programmatic items, which are things that have not been done previously on a regular basis at the authority, but need to be done in order to keep the utility running well. And so those are things that are different that may not have been seen in previous master plans.
Yeah, you mentioned making some adjustments based on have there been many changes on the regulatory environment that GWA lives in the last couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. Our permits have been revised for NPDES for our discharges into the receiving waters of the U.S. So everything that goes out into the ocean or into a river now requires secondary treatment, which we were given waivers on before. Yeah. And when we got the court order, we had to upgrade our treatment process to chemically enhanced primary. But now we're having discussions with EPA about moving the secondary. We've accomplished that without costing the ratepayers any money, using grants from DOD to upgrade Northern. Mm-hmm. And that project is already underway. But the one big plant that's remaining is the Gatineau treatment plant. And so we're negotiating with US EPA on that. All right. So it's again, the nature of the negotiations with the EPA, we've got the secondary treatment, but it is, I'm fuzzy. So there's secondary treatment going on at the Agana plant, but not primary? No, sorry. The Agana and Northern District plants are both chemically enhanced primary. Chemically enhanced primary. Okay. Yeah. So those improved our process at Northern District and Agana as a result of the court order. They required us to do that, and we've done it, and we're complying with the court order in that respect. However, the permits, since the court order was issued, the permits have been revised and the regulations have been revised and been tightened up. And so now we have to go to secondary. And so we don't have any, they're not issuing waivers anymore for secondary treatment, which we used to get along with other jurisdictions in the U.S. So since there are no waivers, we have to meet compliance. And so with Northern District, we're going to do that in 2 years. The upgrades to secondary will be complete. We're in the process of constructing that right now.
Okay. About how much is that? I mean, I would consider it an upgrade, and anybody that does any work near the shore, near the outflow, the outflow of that plant will appreciate the secondary treatment, I suppose. What's the price tag on that?
So Northern District, it's still out to bid, so we don't know the final price on that. But the estimates for the entire grant that we received for that project, including the design and the program management, was around $137 million. So it's not a small ticket item.
No.
Doing it again would be also a little more expensive because of the location and the complexities involved in constructing out there.
Right, and that's the expensive part. Do we anticipate any rate increases to be able to meet that price tag soon?
So what the Northern District's not going to affect rates at all because that's all grant money.
That's right.
What we're trying to do is make other improvements to the collection system to address regulatory concerns, so we can push back doing anything at Agana until a later date. So that's what we're trying to do right now. But there are other improvements we want to make in the collection system, upgrading our pump stations, and those are the regulatory priorities we're trying to address now. And so, yes, to answer your question, there are rate increases associated with that, and we have proposed a 5-year plan with rate increases that cumulatively total 38%.
When you refer to collection systems, are you talking about collections for customer payments?
No. Wastewater collection. This is all about the infrastructure rate.
Okay.
So those, it's over the next 5 years, actually 6 years, including this year, which we already have funding sources for. Our CIP, our capital improvement program, is about $524 million over the next 5 years, and a big chunk of that, say about $200 million of that is going to be obligated this year. So the remaining amount we need to finance over the next 5 years. We will need to do some bond borrowing. We're asking for $260 million in new bonds as part of that 5-year program.
Do you have any idea when you're going to be going out for those bonds?
The first one will be towards the end of this year, and then the next series of bonds will be in 2022.
Miguel, a couple of weeks ago there was a story floating around about the incredible leakage in the GWA system. What steps are you guys taking to correct that, so that whatever it is that we're sending out actually is billable? You get some kind of return on it.
Yeah. So the actual percentage that we're losing to the pipes, as we've calculated using the AWWA standard methods, is about 49%. The 58% number that has been floated by the public auditor's office. That also includes non-revenue water, which is water that we may not get paid for, but is used in authorized ways, such as hydrant flushing and so on and so forth. So the actual leakage is 49%, and so we have beefed up our leak repair program. Actually, Ray, in the time that I've been there, we've gone from a backlog of over 200 leaks at the end of any given day to now less than 20. So that's a really significant reduction in leak repair times. So we're making progress there. The other thing we've done, we're in the middle of a program to put in district meters so we can tell how the water is moving throughout the system and how it compares to the consumption within specific districts. So if we've got a large amount of water going into the central area, for example, and the metering shows that, but the consumption on our customers' meters shows that it's not the same amount, then we have a problem there, and we can focus in. Yeah,
kind of. You get a sense of there's a gap here. We've got a delta. We've got to figure out where that gap is, and figure out how to cover that.
We're also piloting a new technology that uses satellite-based imagery to find sources of leaks, and this is something that's pretty cutting edge. Other utilities around the world are still pilot testing it as well, but we're trying to see, because we have a large percentage of our pipes which we inherited, for example, on former military properties that may not now be occupied and we may not have easements to, and so we're trying to locate in areas like that where we may not know we have a leak and there's no one there to see it. That the satellite imagery will pick it up and then we can send a crew out. So we're piloting that technology, and we just received the first set of images. And
so there's a satellite up there that's doing real-time surveillance over areas like Guam that can see the leaks from space?
Well, what they do is they take a series of images using multiple passes of satellites that are in this company's network, I think, and then they use an algorithm to refine the images. And I don't know if they use something akin to either infrared imaging but the algorithm focuses in on water that has been previously treated, so it can distinguish between rainwater or puddles and potable water, and so it uses that to identify areas with a certain radius, and then we send a crew out to ground truth it.
Yeah.
And so there are.
But of course, there's nothing better than having somebody call in and report, hey, there's a leak on the road, there's a leak coming out, or somebody hit a hydrant or something like that, right?
We're still. I mean, yeah, that's our regular program, and as I mentioned, we've taken that number down by over 90%, and so using that traditional method, we're making progress. But this is something else to help us with areas where we may not know we have infrastructure, or we may not know where the leaks might be.
The uncomfortable question about pay raises are going to be coming up, I guess, over the next few days. There's supposed to be a get-together on Friday with GPA, GWA, and the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. Are you aware whether or not the conversation will be held in public about the ability of the utilities to provide raises to their general managers, legal people, assistant general managers, and such? Will that be a part of the agenda on Friday? Do you know?
I believe it is, Ray. The board has called the meeting, and we will show up. I'm not real clear on what the board's actions are going to be, so I can't speak to that.
Well, I appreciate it just as a matter of transparency, you not waiting on instructions from legal or the board. You chose to publicly send the dough back, whatever the bonus money and whatever raise money that you've gotten since last year, to return that back to the coffers of the Waterworks Authority. If it comes down to it again, are you going to suggest that you and others in the company receive a raise?
Well, we don't recommend. I only recommend the people that I supervise, and so. The one thing that's been fairly disappointing to me about the conversation on this is the picture's being painted that there was ill intent or there was some shenanigans, and that's absolutely not the case. The executive session was called because performance evaluations were going to be discussed, and it's a personnel matter, and there's nothing wrong with that. At the point where the performance evaluations were given, and I gave my recommendations for my legal counsel, and then I left the room, and the board had their discussion. Now, how they wrapped up that discussion and came out of the executive session as public session is apparently where the problem arises, but there was no ill intent, and there was nothing malign in anybody's thinking regarding this. It was strictly a performance evaluation, and then they discussed adjustments.
Right, and they should have gone out of executive session for the gaveling in of the rest of that conversation. I appreciate your point there, Miguel. Listen, I got to break away because it's 7 o'clock already. I got the news coming your way. I'll talk to you again soon. Good luck on your get-togethers. I'll give the dates and times for our listeners in just a little bit.
All right, Ray.
All right, man. I'll talk to you. 888-825-5888-TALK. Yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning. Got headlines from the Fox News Network coming up. On the other side of that, Kevin Kerrigan will recite the big stories to you from today's Guam Daily Post. Something else you want to talk about? Well, you got the numbers, 888-8255. Leave me a note on Facebook Live. I read all of them. I like the ones that make me smile. and laugh out loud. Those are my favorites. All right, hit those things up. KUSG, I got you. Stand by now for Fox News.
A deadly emergency landing. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. Russian officials saying 13 people died in a fiery accident at an airport in Moscow.
The fire reportedly broke out when the plane was in the air on its way to the northern city of Murmansk. It was forced to turn around after takeoff and made a hard landing, already on fire. Some initial reports from flight tracking websites that we've confirmed suggest that the pilot looped around once over the airport before attempting to land a second time. 73 passengers and 5 crew members were on board that plane.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. President Trump tweeting special counsel Robert Mueller should not testify before Congress.
We hope the special counsel will appear. We think the American people have a right to hear directly from him.
House Democrat David Cicilline on Fox News Sunday initially said Mueller is tentatively scheduled to appear before the Judiciary Committee next week, later tweeting nothing has been agreed to yet.
The appearance would be in the wake of Attorney General William Barr's Senate testimony. Several House Democrats accused Barr of lying to lawmakers. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Lindsey Graham has apparently sent a letter to Mueller inviting him to testify. There is no current agreement on that.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The United Nations calling for an immediate end to fighting between Israel and militants in Gaza. At least 3 Israelis and 16 Palestinians killed.
There is no let-up in this latest phase of violence. The Gaza Strip battered by Israeli airstrikes. Retaliation for the huge barrage of rocket fire that has been loosed on civilians across southern Israel.
Sky News correspondent Alex Rossi in Ashkelon. The White House says Israelis have every right to defend themselves, but hopes both sides can return to a ceasefire. This is Fox News.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
If you're driving, chances are you'll need gas soon. And by the growl in your tummy, a trip to the grocery store too. But don't just buy gas and groceries without getting double miles. Instead, apply for the new United credit card from First Hawaiian Bank and start earning double miles towards your next trip. Gas, groceries, getaway. With the new United credit card, apply at FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Gas prices rising 5 cents in the last 2 weeks.
The biggest influence is always crude oil, and crude oil prices did slip to the tune of about a nickel per gallon's worth in the past 2 weeks.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg says the national average is $2.97 for a gallon of regular. Far from a lazy Sunday for Democrats on the road to 2020.
Many of them focused on the early voting states of Iowa and South Carolina. But before getting on the stump, several did the Sunday morning talk shows. And on ABC this week, Bernie Sanders made it clear that he is more progressive than former Vice President Joe Biden, who just got into the race. Then he went on to Iowa and tried to prove it with a speech about breaking up big agribusiness. Sanders unveiled a plan to take antitrust action to block farm mergers. He would also take subsidies away from large farms and shift them to small and medium-sized farms.
Fox's Dan Springer. Another police officer killed on the job.
A police officer was shot and killed in North Carolina Saturday night. 32-year-old Jordan Harris Sheldon, a canine cop in Mooresville, was gunned down in the midst of a routine traffic stop. It happened around 10 p.m. The suspect later shot and killed himself as police closed in. Officer Sheldon was a 6-year veteran of the Mooresville PD. He is the 15th police officer to be killed in the line of duty this year. Karen McHugh, Fox News.
The co-owner of a horse disqualified at the Kentucky Derby may appeal the decision. Thoroughbred Idea Foundation Executive Director Pat Cummings explains what happened.
Maximum Security was the first horse past the finish line in the Kentucky Derby, but then the stewards got involved, the judges, essentially the referees, and they made a determination that there was interference in the race, and that the winner caused several other horses to lose a better placing in the race.
Runner-up Country House was crowned the winner. The Chestnut Colt entered the race as a 65-1 long shot. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Get a Coke 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra-large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Major General Esther Agagi officially taking command as Adjutant General of the Guam National Guard yesterday. During a ceremony at the Guard Readiness Center in Barragata, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, the first woman to become governor of Guam, declared it was her honor to appoint the first Chamorro female Adjutant General of Guam. Today marked a historic event, said the governor in her remarks. Later, Agagi, who was a lieutenant colonel prior to her new job, pledged to look after the welfare of the Guam Guard soldiers, airmen, civilians, and their families. Agagi is the 11th Adjutant General for the Guam National Guard since its establishment nearly 38 years ago. Also yesterday, Chief Master Sergeant Philip Tyron assumed responsibility as Command Chief of the Guam Air National Guard. Tyron stepped into the role vacated by Chief Master Sergeant John Kinata, who is now Deputy Executive Manager of the Guam International Airport. Takecare Insurance Company has filed a formal protest with the Department of Administration over the bidding process for the Government of Guam Group health insurance contract. In a release to the media yesterday, Takecare accuses Guam Regional Medical City of attempting to coerce Takecare into accepting higher rates than what GRMC charges other local insurance providers, and trying to bully Takecare into covering all its members at GRMC, not just GovGuam employees and retirees. In its protest, Takecare asserts the request for proposals issued by DOA and Public Law 35-2 are in violation of various island laws. It asks for the RFP to be canceled and revised to comply with the law. In addition, Takecare wants the health insurance contract procurement to be stayed and no award of a group health insurance contract awarded until the protest is resolved. Takecare's protest was filed on Friday, which was the deadline for submitting bids. The only two health insurers who submitted bids by the Friday deadline were Calvo's Select Care and Aetna. GRMC has not yet responded to a request for comment. We'll have more news after this.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take my ex-girlfriend, just checking in.
Aw.
Hey, David, it's me, just checking in. I'm doing great. Just got the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap from Subway. Creamy guacamole, smoky sweet Wajillo mesquite sauce, and double the tender steak. They just know what I want before I do. So, yeah, things are going pretty great for me. Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub. Okay, bye.
If you've ever struggled for breath, you know what a scary experience it is. Whether you have asthma, emphysema, COPD, lung cancer, or another respiratory illness, the right medical treatment makes all the difference. GRMC's Pulmonology Clinic has the latest technology and respiratory equipment, staffed by world-class pulmonologists. Make an appointment today with GRMC's Pulmonology Clinic and start breathing easier. GRMC, where patients are partners.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. The Southern High School student accused in last Thursday's theft of a firearm from a vehicle parked at the Southern High campus is being charged as an adult. 17-year-old Christian Kinata appeared before Superior Court Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan Saturday. According to the magistrate complaint, he is alleged to have broken into 2 pickup trucks parked at the school last Thursday. According to the magistrate complaint, a teacher told police he went to check on his white pickup shortly before noon on Thursday and found that personal belongings that he kept in a black pouch were missing. He told another teacher, who then checked his own black pickup and found it too had been broken into. Guam DOE officials last week said that a loaded weapon was stolen from a school employee's vehicle, and that led to an hour-long lockdown at the school that lasted until the firearm was recovered. It was found inside a girls' restroom at the school. It was a Smith & Wesson .357 caliber revolver. The magistrate complaint states that 2 students told police they saw Kinata holding a silver handgun that same day. Kinata told police he broke into both trucks searching for items to steal, and according to the complaint, Kinata claims he only stole some change from a white pickup and didn't take anything from the black pickup. The complaint also reveals that Kinata admitted to police that he used crystal meth and marijuana. Kinata initially denied taking the firearm, but later admitted to having it, but said he found it inside a bag in the parking lot. The complaint does not reveal who owned the weapon. However, Guam police say that an investigation is underway to determine whether any charges will be filed against the employee from whose pickup the gun was stolen. The Drug Enforcement Agency took in a record amount of unused and unwanted prescription drugs during the April 27th National Prescription Drug Take-Back Initiative on Guam and the CNMI. DEA resident agent in charge, Edward Talbot, said, through the community's efforts and the Post-Guam's efforts, we seized 200 pounds more than we did last year. In all, 675.5 pounds were collected during the Take-Back campaign on Guam, Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. Talbot called it an historic event. It's never been done before. He said it's the most we have ever had turned in. He said the Take-Back initiative throughout the region has become a huge success, and the community has been very supportive of it. National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is part of a larger effort to reduce the abuse of prescription medicines. It was Guam's 9th year participating in the program. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
No, just me, only me. I'm playing around here. I couldn't do this by myself. But mostly sunny skies with isolated showers today. Winds out of the east. What are we going to be blowing at? 10 to 15 miles an hour. Not bad, but generally slightly less windy this week than it was last week. Highs near 89 degrees. Lows near 89 degrees. Overnight lows should be about 78 degrees. Sunset tonight, 6:37, and the sunrise tomorrow morning, about 5:57, 5:58 is what we're looking at. Hopefully this is refreshed. I clicked the button. I'm not entirely sure. Not that it would make all that much difference, considering just how little there is by way of features in the radar this week.
Yeah, there's really not much down there right now. Some showers passing to our south. May get a little bit of a clipping down at the extreme southern portions of the island, some light showers. Nothing really for us, though, downstream, and that looks to be the way it's going to stay for the next several days. And looking at satellite here, we can kind of see what's going on. Now, off to our west right now, we have 90 W-Invest, just a weak tropical disturbance that's just not going to get any better than what it is right now, but it is a sign that things are starting to change, and we're starting to get excess heat in our water and atmosphere because Mother Nature is trying to get rid of it. It's going to dissipate as it moves off to the north. Just just checked the Naval Research Labs a moment ago, and it appears the area that I was talking about last hour to our southeast has now been designated as 91W Invest, and the models are actually kind of showing some development. At least a couple of the models are showing some development of this area as it moves towards us over the next few days, and it could get close enough to us to bring us some rain over the weekend. We'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully we can get some wetness across these dry, parched hills.
Yeah, well, it's again to be summertime, and before too much longer, the weather is going to change. So I will say it this way: enjoy the heat. Enjoy some of the grill mark opportunities that we have, because it's going to be summertime before too much longer, and the beginning of our own monsoony wet season.
That's right.
And then you'll be complaining about the rain and how come the roads are wetter all the time, or nothing wants to dry out in the house. So just kind of take what you got on a daily basis and enjoy it, because it's Guam. The weather could change in 5 minutes. It's 7:15. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Let's see now. Fast, easy, affordable. That's the best way to describe my home loan at Bank Pacific. Fast, because we give quick decisions. Easy, because we've cut back on the paperwork. Affordable, because today's home loan rates are still so low. So see us today to refinance or consolidate, or to buy or build your new home and save yourself some money.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, FDIC, Viva Bank Pacific.
Yeah, see that clicking that you heard just a little bit ago. I was telling you about the WhatsApp number, the radio station, and Rico Blancaflor, who last hour on Facebook Live was talking about the great sunset that they had over at Alupang. Now, he took a picture of it, and that was very nice. A little bit of you can make out the Alupat Island over there, and off in the distance is the Lupang Cove condominium that they've got there. But a picture made pretty, not just because of the sunset, because of the beautiful people in there as well. 7:16, portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by King's Restaurant, where they got that crazy 19 menu. Find it over at the Tamuning or the Harmon location. All your favorite breakfast items that they've kind of rehacked and reimagined and stuck in there for the holiday menu. Well, they're just going to keep it for the rest of the year. What the heck? We did the work, and people seem to like it. Also brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar, and American President Lines, where they're shipping the future.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamam. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
All right, who else bringing you the program? Guys, over at Cold Stone, you know, it's Mother's Day is right around the corner. Don't know if you've heard. Show your mom that she is the best at Cold Stone Creamery. Celebrate with new ice cream cakes, Oreo cookies, and Cream Extreme. Made with layers of moist yellow cake, chocolate ice cream with golden Oreo cookies, cake batter ice cream with Oreo cookies wrapped in a fluffy Oreo cookie frosting. Order yours online now at coldstonecakes.com. Cold Stone Creamery, super premium ice cream made fresh every day. Also brought to you by my friends over at Cars Plus, Joey, Jan, and Dunge. And they'll tell you all, what you need to know about getting into your new ride, whether it's got 2 wheels or 4 wheels. You'll find something that you're going to love at Cars Plus up in Mighty. Also being brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
My buddy Dennis Bensour suggesting that more and more people are watching on the YouTube channel that we have. We send the video out on this program to a bunch of different places. You can watch this you can watch us on the Daily Post's website and their app. You can also watch this on our website, which is thepoint.gu on the World Wide Web. Send up your messages on Facebook Live. But if you want the completely almost anonymous experience, I mean, I think you can see if you chat something, people will be able to see you. But Dennis says more and more people watching on the YouTube. Started out as 1 or 2 folks, now up to double digits. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Well, maybe there's a share button that you can send up on that as well, so that people that you know in your contact book that I don't know might be able to find out where it is that you're watching the program, where it is that you're getting some really cool information, sacred wisdom about everything that's going on here on Guam, and more. This is the Ray Gibson Show. People that I can't see include Bob O'Malley and Therese Matanani. As I said, Dennis Bensour, and we missed an opportunity, Dennis and I, to get together yesterday because I wanted to know what Dennis's predictions were going to be for, get ready for it, Game of Thrones. It's Monday, and that means we have Season 8, Episode 4. Last week, Episode 1, just take everybody right to the edge of their seats and left them there for 55 minutes worth of a big, long fight. And then here comes, in what has got to be the best hero move of all time, young Arya Stark comes and just as the guy is about to wail on the Crow Kid, the one that got pushed out of the tower? Yeah. Just as the walker was about to dispatch him, here comes Arya, and he puts his hand out, grabs her by the throat, and she's got the knife in one hand, and she lets it fall.
What a move.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, she just dropped the knife. What's going to happen now? She grabs it with her other hand that you can't see and pokes the guy in the stomach, and then we win. And I thought, wow, how about that? I tell you, when I must have rewatched that scene a dozen times because it was so good.
I finally finished the whole battle scene on Thursday.
Oh, you did?
It took me a couple of days. I couldn't get through it in one watching.
Yeah, you need. There's. I know it took a long time, but they needed. There were all of these different people that are attached to the story that we all kind of had to plug into, and then it was. They were trying to funnel down the tension. And I think they did it very successfully. You know, it's dark, and it's outside, and there's fighting, and there's dying, and there's dragons, and it looks bad. And then all of a sudden, all of the people that were killed on the good guy side were brought back as bad guys. That was one of those moments. I nervous, wet hands the entire time. So that happened last week. What happens this week?
Oh, I have my predictions for Episode 4. There will be some fighting. There will be some cursing. There will be at least one sex scene.
Could be nipples. Watch out.
Yeah, and definitely belly buttons. And so those are my bold predictions.
Yeah. That's the generic. Anything can happen on a Game of Thrones episode.
Oh yeah, and someone you love will die.
there might be some of that. As I don't know who's left that they would take. I imagine there might be a couple other episodes to come. It's possible that someone we hate might die on Game of Thrones tonight. So, you know what? Free form if you want to, Game of Thrones fans, 888-8255, or just stick your predictions if you want to on Facebook Live. That way, if you get it right, we can say, oh, yeah, Dennis got that one. Or if you get it wrong, then we will lord it over you for the rest of your natural life. Because it'll be written down and all of that stuff. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Additional voices in the studio. Jerry Roberts is all lined up and ready to go with this morning's extra point. Just at the same time, well, maybe I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, it's Mother's Day Monday. It's Game of Thrones Monday. We're in May now, all of a sudden, and maybe one of those kind of extra points that will guide people through this month and summer. What do you say? Or maybe just a generic one. What are we doing today?
Generic one?
Well, I guess he's
since when?
Stacking up the paperwork. So I'm going to give him a chance to stack up the paperwork a little bit more, and then
I got to stack up the headphones first.
Go into what happened on the markets and see where everything went. The S&P 500 markets, they closed up 28 points on their Friday, our Saturday, 2,945. The Nasdaq at 8164, pick up 127 points. I think these guys pushing into record territory deeper and deeper every day. Dow Jones Industrial Average, they picked up almost 200 points to close at 26,504. FTSE will open up. The Nikkei is going to be opening, but down, but not very deep. They're only up by about 50 points. Hang Seng is up. Shanghai is up, and the DAX is also up. Commodities, West Texas crude trading at $61.94. That's about 30 cents up from where it was last Friday when we looked at it, $61.58. Where are we? Good news on Tapas? Yeah, 75.68. Let me just make sure I double-check my numbers. Yeah, 75.68 is where we left it on Friday. Today, we start the Tapas surveillance at $74.41, so better than $1 worth of a drop in the price of Tapas crude.
That's a good place to start.
That is a good place to start on a Monday. Yeah, I kind of like that one. And what exactly happened? You look at the markets, and you see the Dow up by a couple of hundred points. Maybe you're wondering what happened there, and I don't know if you paid any attention, but the unemployment number numbers are just incredible. And I don't know, the people that love Trump are going to say, yeah, because Trump, look what he did. It is virtual universal employment across the country. If you lump everybody together and just do the math, what is it, 3.6, something like that?
For those who want to work, there are jobs.
There are jobs. What have we got here? The NASDAQ composite's up. We got Dow Jones up. 263,000 new hires in April alone. The unemployment rate fell 3.6%. It is the lowest since 1969, Jerry. It is the lowest since 1969.
Nice.
Non-farm payroll growth far outpaced Wall Street expectations, 190,000, and a 3.8% jobless rate in that sector as well. And so, as I said, you take a look at some of those numbers and you look at say, what do we do now? Invest is what you do. You send the money, whatever dough you got, to the markets to see what the market's reaction is going to be to that kind of good economic news, and largely it has been up. It has been positive. There's some granular stuff, some fine slicing that people have done, especially in terms of minorities and how this is helping many minorities, maybe for some of them for the first time, to be able to find some kind of employment. So I think there's some great stories that are going to be told about this for the next couple of days, or until they decide that Trump has stepped into another puddle and they'll take advantage of that.
Now, are every one of those jobs meant to be a living wage?
I don't have that granular information.
No, I mean, in theory. I mean, and actually in application. Every job in America, is it meant to be a full living wage?
Can we define living wage?
Yeah. If you cash it and you can pay all your bills and everything you need to out of that paycheck, that's a living wage.
Because I know people who are making six figures that are deep in debt.
Yeah, okay. You know where we're going here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I define living wage as if I were to stop working today and simply go become a freeloader or I'm sorry, free rider is the term they like to use. But if I was to become a freeloader rider and just take government benefits and housing and SNAP and WIC and all of these other things.
A whole lot more than minimum wage.
We're talking about what, 14 and a half, 15 bucks?
Oh,
round there
in Hawaii, it's massive.
Well, but that's because they built themselves a social infrastructure. It's probably one of the more expensive ones in the country.
Easily.
Yeah. So their living wage structure, the amount of benefits that you can get if you can prove that you aren't working, is significant, and so is significantly higher than here.
Yeah, jobs are meant to be, I want to say sequential. You start off here, you go to here. You do well, you go to here.
Right.
You go a little higher on the food chain. And then at some point in time, you're going to be in a position where you can elevate that career into something else. And that's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, so I don't know. How to define that kind of, is every job out there supposed to be one that provides the earner with a living wage?
In Vermont.
Because I'm always the guy that says, what's the value of that job?
Okay, exactly. In Vermont, years ago, I dealt with a guy that was a Macintosh distributor. And he was giving me some things I couldn't get locally. And in Vermont, they had passed laws, and some people who got together in nonprofits and actually come together with a living wage initiative that actually worked pretty well. I don't know if it was copied by anybody else, but in any other states.
Do you remember the components?
I don't. But
well, that's tomorrow's extra point.
It's a long time ago. He actually sent me a copy of it, and I don't know if I still have it or not. I'll have to look. But it was really interesting in how I remember how it was put together, in that they had put jobs together in such a way that, because their cost of living is totally different than what ours would be. But
they don't have the Jones Act there.
No, they don't have the Jones Act. There's a lot of other things they don't have, that we have to deal with. But it did work for them. And people would get their basic job, and there were very few minimum wage jobs, as I recall. He said that was one of the things, very few minimum wage jobs. But they also weren't doing the equivalent of whatever $15 an hour was back then. They weren't doing that either, and then setting a high minimum, to start. It just seemed to work for everybody there. But I don't know. Since nobody else copied it, maybe it did.
Yeah, interesting. There was, while we're on the subject, I'll see which Daily Post it's in, whether it's in, I've got three of them in front of me, but there's an interesting article in there about the wage gap myth. and how some countries have, in an abundance of political correctness, tried to increase the wages for the women, which they did by dropping the rates for the men. Yeah. That's how we're going to close the wage gap. And so, question, the warning is in the editorial. One other thing before we get into Jerry Roberts and the extra point, because we're just burning up airtime here. Ismael with the picture of the gas pump on the Navy base here, $2.95 at the auto port for a gallon of gasoline.
That's high for them.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He's feeling some pinch out there. $2.95 for them. $4.35 a gallon for us on this side of the fence. For those of you that want to make that comparison. Hey, we got to jump into it. Jerry Roberts in this morning's Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
We all want engaged workers on our payroll. What can managers do to help facilitate that? Let's dig into that question next on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
If you're driving, chances are you'll need gas soon. And by the growl in your tummy, a trip to the grocery store too. But don't just buy gas and groceries without getting double miles. Instead, apply for the new United credit card from First Hawaiian Bank and start earning double miles towards your next trip. Gas, groceries, getaway. With the new United credit card, apply at FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Companies need engaged workers because they're the ones who vastly outperform the disengaged and make the difference between winning and losing in the battle for market share and profitability. If you have some strongly engaged workers on your team, but you haven't been able to quantify just how much more of a difference they make over their coworkers who don't do as much, a recently released Gallup organization study may be eye-opening. Those numbers are coming, but we need to get a little bit deeper. First, let's acknowledge that one of the goals of any employer is to increase the ratio of engaged versus disengaged workers. I think we can all agree on that. So how does one go about doing that? It turns out that requires ongoing intentional employee development. That means training, but did you catch the key words in the sentence? Intentional employee development. Gallup and other workplace experts believe that a highly effective approach to development is to focus on strengthening strengths over dealing with weaknesses. If that's a bit on the surprising side, strengthening a strength is a way to grow, while improving a weakness may not provide as big a return for the investment of time and money, and therefore could be seen as more like patching a problem. Gallup research shows that strength-based development leads to the following: 10 to 19% increased sales, 14 to 29% increased profit, 3 to 7% higher customer engagement, and 9 to 15% increase in engaged employees overall. These are direct links between strengths and engagement that are fundamental to the overall employee experience. Let me add another key factor: coaching. When you engage the worker in strengths-based training and marry that up to coaching by an engaged supervisor, it's a recipe for powerful change and growth. Okay, so how do we determine workers' strengths? Inexpensive assessments are available, but may not be required if the supervisor has a clear picture of what each individual on his or her team does best. Once this is established, with or without an assessment, the right blend of training and coaching is the passport to building the desired results. Here's the hard truth which Gallup puts forth, as do I. Managers can't ever stop trying to build on the strengths of the workers they are responsible for. The job of engaging employees starts fresh with every new day. Here are those numbers I promised. Gallup found that managers who build the employee experience around strengths had a 60-to-1 engaged employee to disengaged employee ratio. 60-to-1. Managers who focus on patching weaknesses had an engaged to disengaged ratio of 2-to-1. Focusing on strengths yielded a result 30 times better. 30 times better. That should get everybody's attention. Focus on strengths. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something strong happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, GWA Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Can you imagine what the bottom line effect would be if you could get one of your salespeople performing 30 times better?
I was blown away by this thing. I mean, I follow Gallup a lot and things they do. But when they came, this is the first time I've seen them go into this area and talk about strengths-based things. And, I mean, 30 times more than the average? I mean, that's just off the scale.
Think about a real-world example. There's something that you and I might have come across while we're listening to Kevin Kerrigan. He's got news now from the Guam Daily Post. We'll jump back into the conversation with Jerry Roberts because I think it's interesting. Kev?
Half a day, good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Guam Fire Department spokeswoman Charika Chargaloff reporting this morning that a serious injury accident occurred on Route 3 near the NCS Dededo Shell Station. Medics responded to a 911 call at about 2:48 a.m. One patient with serious injuries transported to GRMC. No word on the condition of the patient. No further details available at this time. 52-year-old Vincent John Meno pleading not guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm last week. Meno appeared in the district court on Thursday to answer to an indictment handed down by a federal grand jury on April 24th. According to court documents, Meno was accused of possessing a .38 caliber pistol and 6 assorted rounds of ammunition for it. Meno has an extensive criminal record, including a 2017 arrest on allegations of illegal possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and possession of a concealed firearm without an ID. District Court Magistrate Judge Joaquin Manabusan scheduled trial for Meno on July 9th. Department of Agriculture Director Chelsea Munya Brecht reminds island residents that it is illegal to sell octopus on island. You're allowed to catch octopus for personal consumption, said Brecht, but you cannot sell them. Article 3 of Chapter 12 of the Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations states that marine invertebrates shall not be sold, traded, or bartered. Anyone caught selling octopus is subject to a fine of $250. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Nice. I like that. 7:36 in the morning, except I'm a little bit annoyed by the idea that we cannot buy apparently locally harvested octopus. I like octopus. Can I tell you, though, that I'm 57 years, born and raised on Guam. I don't know how to catch the damn things. So how am I supposed to get my hands around 8 tentacles and cook it and eat it? I would normally say I'm going to go and buy some at the store, but apparently I can't do that. Will the Department of Agriculture be setting up special octopus harvesting classes where it can teach us all how to go out there, storm the reefs on Mondays or Tuesdays and get our fair share, bag limits, if you will, of octopus? Or maybe there will be some kinds of exemptions for certain people that we will allow to harvest and sell octopus.
Interesting idea.
And what will the prices be then when we begin to control the generation, if you will, of octopus?
There'll be a secondary market.
7:37 in the morning. You get rid of the one thing with the marijuana. Now we're going to have underground octopus markets. All right. What was I supposed to say? Oh, yeah, iConnect time. Go to the nearest iConnect and learn what you can about the great plans and packages that they've got available for you. You just need to make a phone call, snap a picture on Facebook, send it up so Grandma can see it. You don't need to spend an arm and a leg on that. Find out how with iConnect at 888-8888.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
Quick scan of the traffic gizmo. Let me see. Is there going to be traffic on Monday? Yeah, there is, because everybody had big weekends, and we're all racing to get to the office right now so we can get some relaxing in. Looks like that's the case up in Jigo. People trying to get into Anderson Air Force Base. Might slow down a little bit there. Coming out of the intersection of Route 3 and 1. Mostly 3 is where things are busy enough. We got a school and a hospital back there. And, you know, they did all that road work. I'm not sure if it allows for any more or less cars to go through than it did before they did all of that road work. Same thing that you see on 16. We'll watch that traffic build up over at the intersection where the Micronesia Mall is. You make your way all the way up to the intersection of Route 16 and 10 Alpha up there by Ocean Vista. It'll get busy. 8, 10, and 16. That intersection will be busy from about the post office all the way into the intersection, the Route 8 and the Happy Mart intersection. It'll open up a little bit. In fact, it's open right now. We don't have to wait for too long. We're not backing up over by that one good intersection to Teedson. 10 starting to get busy. 4 starting to get busy. Looking at traffic in front of the Navy Hospital. That's looking all right now, but it will busy up probably in about the next 10 or 15 minutes. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
Right. Sometimes all you need to do is spend 10 minutes and talk to your team one-on-one because you care, with the understanding that this is business and nothing is personal. That's one of the rules I give when I hire people is don't take anything personally. It's just work. And trust me, if I didn't like your job the way you do your job, I'd can you and find somebody else. But otherwise, if it's just a question of finding a way to improve, then I'll put that in there. So I got Joe Husslein from Takecare on the other line. So we've got a couple of minutes before I get to him to talk about a couple of real world examples of how you can strengthen the strengths in your organization, and you'll see a higher payoff than if you were to look at the weaknesses of the employees and try to correct those or strengthen them.
Okay, so I remember there was one story years ago that there was a company that involved with delivery of things, and they are having trouble with dispatch, and it just wasn't working out. And then they had somebody in the same department that didn't really like her job much, and she was a gopher of one kind or another, but it just wasn't working out. And the dispatcher got sick, and the employer had no choice. So, volunteers? Yeah. Right, it was going to be him. And this girl slips over to the dispatcher job, and it turns out she was incredible at it. So they sat and gave her a fast track on how to be a dispatcher, and apparently she never left the job. I mean, they just
I might know what you're talking about.
I don't know. They kept working on her and built her up into that. And, I mean, profitability followed. And another story that has nothing to do with Guam, but there was, as the story goes, there was an admin assistant was hired for a company, hated her job, and was about to leave. And there was a negotiation in the organization. She had, I guess, a background of some kind in that, or an intense interest in negotiation. She sat with the team, and she was so organized, and they were not. She organized the negotiators in such a way that they became much more successful in what they were doing. I mean, it wasn't like a 50-50 deal. They were hitting all their points because she was prepping them. And she became kind of a coach to the organization's negotiators and salespeople at some point. And she left her admin assistant job, and her strength was the organization and the ability to convey the message and how to deliver those points.
I've worked...
made millions for them.
I've worked around people, obviously, a lot of our business is sales generated, right? Advertising sales generated. And I've worked around some really, really top-notch salespeople, right? And I've worked with people that absolutely no problems closing a deal, but they suck at paperwork. They suck at collections. So here's that's right. Yeah. So guess what? You sell, we'll collect. You sell, tell me what it is that the guy signed off on. We'll go ahead and do the paperwork and turn that into our traffic. We'll turn it into the administration, right?
I've seen the same thing in the same business.
Yep.
People would sell, and they wouldn't hand the paperwork in. It'd be sitting there piled up on their desk, and because they just didn't want to do it.
But otherwise, they were great closers, bringing all kinds of money. So look out for your people, and you might have some people that would otherwise be doing a fantastic job, but you've got them plunked down into things that they're just not interested in. And so why take those hours and make them less productive if you can send them out on the street and have to do something else? All right, listen, I got to let you run. As I said, I got a bigger line on. I've got a bigger name on line one.
He is a much bigger name.
So let me get into this conversation.
Hey, Joe Husslein, how you doing?
Joe's on the line from Honolulu, Hawaii. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Aloha and half a day.
Half a day to you. Last time you and I talked, you were riding a bicycle across the United States.
Oh, I've talked to you since then, but that was a long time ago.
It was it's the conversation that stays in my head. I thought it was a Herculean effort, and I'm sure you were happy when it was done. But I know you felt good making some money.
It was always good to do a bucket list item and do it in a way to be able to benefit big brothers and big sisters internationally, as well as specifically on our Guam chapter there.
They've I don't know if you've been paying much attention to it, but they've changed things out. They've got a whole nother approach on it, and if you want, I'll introduce you to a lady named Samantha Taitano, who can tell you the rest of the story about where they intend to take that over the next couple of months. Meantime, I was in receipt of this the other night. Takecare files formal protest of the RFP for the Government of Guam Group Health Insurance Program. And getting to the bottom line on this, it sounds like many of the concerns that were expressed by a number of people at the public hearings for Bill 30-35 looks like they've come true.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, and that's really the premise of the protest that we unfortunately had to file at 11 a.m. on this past Friday, with DOA and subsequently the Attorney General's office.
Right. Now, you've got those initials in there. I'm wondering out loud to what degree the Public Auditor's office might be involved.
Well, that would be a good question. I think first, and I think news channels such as yours and others, DOA needs to first acknowledge the protest and issue a stay, which I would expect that's forthcoming. So I'd be interested. I think the newspaper media would be interested in hearing their perspectives, and then once that decision reached and that process evolves, then it would get to the public auditor's office at that point.
All right. Well, let me go through bits and pieces of this because it wasn't clear. I had to read the paperwork, the press release, a couple of times to get it straight in my head. I'm glad you're on the line so I can understand a little bit more of what has taken place or how Takecare has tried to live within the Public Law 35-2. So you've attempted to deal directly with Guam Regional Medical City to come up with your own rates as the health insurance company, and with them as being a provider in your network. But you've also gone through Netcare. And that's kind of fuzzy in my head. Can you explain that relationship between Takecare, Netcare, and GRMC?
Yeah, it's really an industry standard type of situation. In fact, the discussion actually came up during the testimony in the recent Bill 3035 that became Public Law 35-2. It's not uncommon for insurance companies, if they don't have direct payer agreements, to lease networks of other insurance companies to access their network in total, or specific providers in their network, whether those are on or off island. So we actually, back before, we've been down this road before, unfortunately, had reached out to Netcare during the last protest and said, hey, let's work on something to where we might be able to lease your network so we have that in place. And have that in our back pocket, if you will. Our desire is to try to get a direct payer agreement with GRMC. And be able to facilitate that business first and foremost, and then if not, then be able to use the industry standard lease option through Netcare, which, by the way, Netcare has at least a hand, if not two handful, of different insurance providers or employer groups that do exactly the same thing Takecare has.
Yeah.
They have a lease agreement, similarly situated, if not identically situated as Takecare, and like I said, it's industry standard. So, we had approached GRMC back in January of this year, well before the current discussion regarding the new public law, and said, let's. It doesn't serve either one of us to battle this out, and let's let the past be the past, and let's heal wounds and move forward, and see what the best way to do that is. And our focus has been specifically, I come from a culture of let's crawl, then walk, then run and sprint, and let's slowly work our way back to having a reasonable business relationship, and let's focus on GovGuam and see if we can come to terms with some type of agreement for GovGuam specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the public law got introduced, and that's been our primarily focus. And then if we can get that in place, then there's no reason why we couldn't then grow that contract to then expand into other lines of the Takecare business that we have, whether that's federal or commercial.
Yeah, well, I thought that was an interesting conversation as well in the press release. Joe, so they disallowed your plan to use Netcare. My understanding, reading from this is from Takecare's press release. We have not gotten anything, a companion release from or other comment from Guam Regional Medical City. So your press release says that GRMC said they would not allow any other local health plan to access Netcare's in-network rates with GRMC, and that all Guam-based health plans need to directly contract with GRMC for in-network rates. Now, you're talking about the relationship between Netcare now and GRMC. Would you be the only local provider, local health plan then that would access, or are there other insurance plans? I think we're talking. My understanding is that Aetna right, is also in Netcare's under Netcare's umbrella.
Yeah, I'm not really sure of all of Netcare's client arrangements, but I do know that Aetna is one of them, and of course we are one of them. Our direct negotiations with GRMC failed sometime in mid-April, if I'm not mistaken, because of the conditions that GRMC wanted, which, quite frankly was coercive at best, and definitely an overreach, if I was going to be diplomatic about it. And they said, Takecare needs to provide access to all of its customers, not only GovGuam, but all the commercial and all of Takecare's federal businesses.
Well, that's not a part of the law.
It's not part of the law, and we pointed that out. And I said, let's just work on GovGuam first. I can certainly understand from a business standpoint, if I was in GRMC's shoes, that I'd want to have an access to all of Takecare's customers. I explained to Mr. Santos at that time that we have a fiduciary responsibility to our groups and our members. They've clearly chose Takecare because of the price and the network access that we provide and the service that we provide. And the federal market does not require it for obvious reasons. And as I pointed out to him in January and then as recent as April, we've actually secured 5 large groups from competitors that have GRMC in its network in the private sector that, those groups decided to vote with their pocketbooks to move to Takecare. So it wouldn't be fair to require us to just carte blanche have this GRMC access and, an underlying cost that would have to be paid in premiums. So back to your question, the language that GRMC provided to Netcare is that no local health plan or Guam-based health plan under the Netcare arrangement can access GRMC, which is obviously very discriminatory, knowing they have at least 2 handfuls of other clients that I believe some of them may be on-island type of private groups or what have you, that utilize GRMC for its access.
Going back to the last point about commercial and federal members, are you aware whether or not GRMC requires, say, SelectCare and Staywell to provide access? Well, I guess it's not a requirement, but obviously that's part of the selling features for SelectCare and Staywell is access to GRMC. But
yeah, and I think that's a good question to ask Staywell and Select Care, because I know they have agreements with them. It's the first I've ever heard of Netcare and GRMC having this type of requirement, or GRMC requiring this requirement of Netcare. I do know that one of the other local health plans who has a direct payer agreement with GRMC was offering a rider or a buy-up option if employer groups wanted Select Care or GRMC access. And that carrier had some contentious issues with GRMC, and I don't know how they've worked those out. Specifically, that was Staywell. And it just doesn't seem appropriate market conduct to expect to have your facility, in this case, or your private hospital, covered across the board in a health insurance plan, which is exactly part of the problem. Is generally health insurance companies will tailor their network based on their customers' expectations. In this case, the employer group, if it's a private company or the federal, or with GovGuam. And what I explained to GRMC in our April discussions in regards to a direct payer agreement is their condition that we have to provide GRMC access across all of our products. And let's just talk about GovGuam products. I said, well, if you're requiring Takecare to do that, then we can't adequately respond to the RFP that GovGuam has put out, because the GovGuam RFP has two components. It has a network that they call a broad network, which requires the private hospital, which, if we had a payer agreement directly with GRMC, great. Our plan was to submit based on our Netcare rental arrangement, so we could comply with that.
Right.
Yet what I pointed out to GRMC is their requirement that we include GRMC in the second part of the RFP, which is what it calls a high-performance network or a narrow network, which allows a carrier to take out specific providers, including the private hospital, is they're tying our hands with that condition, and that's inappropriate. That's extending beyond the law, and it's not allowing Takecare, and if they were requiring other insurance carriers to do the same, it's restricting their ability to facilitate the market requirement.
Yeah, or manage their business. There is also a question of rates. Instead, GRMC, reading again from the press release, GRMC provided Takecare rates that are exorbitantly higher, nearly 70% higher in comparison to that of other local health insurers. Again, this was, I recall, a concern that had come up from many people that testified in the public hearings for this, is that, sure, all of a sudden, if Takecare is going to be required to be a part of this and provide services at GRMC for their employees and retirees in the government of Guam for these plans, essentially GRMC could quote whatever prices that they wanted to you.
Exactly, and as I mentioned in the onset, we already had our Netcare rental lease arrangement in place before 2019. And when we had approached GRMC and said, look, we would like to have a direct payer arrangement, similar, if not comparable, or even better terms than you have with any other local health plan in terms of service and fees, then we would like to work with you on that. And specifically, let's talk about GovGuam first, and then the other lines of the business. So when they came with their proposed rates, which weren't open to negotiation, according to GRMC, take it or leave it was basically their attitude. We had the ability through two different ways. Is one, we knew the underlying rates of our lease arrangement with Netcare, so we could directly compare the rates that GRMC was proposing to Takecare under a direct payer arrangement to that through the lease arrangement with Netcare, and through coordination of benefits with other carriers. When a patient is in the hospital and they might have wife coverages with Select Care and husband coverages with Takecare, there's coordination of benefits. So we can pretty much discern indirectly through that way or directly with the Netcare lease arrangement, compare those rates, and in some instances they were as high as 70% higher. So take Takecare out of this whole discussion, because this issue is bigger. It's not a GRMC versus Takecare thing. Again, GRMC has its business practice. I can certainly appreciate, the financial desire and viability that they want to have. That's been reported in the media with regards to some of the things that they're going through.
They got some boardroom hassles that they've got to get through, Takecare is not immune to that either. There have been some key people that had been with Takecare for a number of years, no longer in those positions. So I think everybody is going through some changes in 2019.
My point with that is, they're a for-profit company, and if there's an opportunity for them to get bigger market share, I think any private company should be able to do that. But to exploit Public Law 35-2 and basically try to coerce Takecare in all the conditions is inappropriate. But take Takecare out of that. What's preventing them from going to plan the next health plan, whether it's Aetna or Select Care, and saying, well, we want to charge you X next year. Take it or leave it. And then
because it's under the law, you've got to include us into all of your plans. Yeah. Joe, I appreciate the time, and I hope this has provided some clarity for the listeners, as we do with all issues. We have I know that the Guam Daily Post has sent a request for comment from the folks over at Guam Regional Medical City that I know of. They haven't received anything yet, but we'll offer them the same time on the radio so that they can present their side of the story.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, it becomes in a condition where it's an improper delegation of authority, where a private entity can directly influence the procurement process, charge whatever rates they want to charge, and ultimately that comes to the cost of higher premiums, which Guam's taxpayers have to foot that bill.
Which was the concern that I had every single time I brought the subject up. Is great. It's always interesting to watch the two giants fight this out, but at the end of it, what's the impact going to be on the actual taxpayers around here? And I guess we're going to have to wait and see on that. Joe,
and you led this with strengthening with the former guest, and under procurement you would want to have you have a requirement.
Joe, unfortunately I got to break away. I've got the news in front of us. We'll chat up again soon. I'll see you.
All righty. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. 8 o'clock in the morning. Time now for Fox News Live.
I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. President Trump tweeting special counsel Robert Mueller should not testify before Congress. Fox's Garrett Tenney in Washington.
To be clear, the special counsel did not clear the president of obstruction of justice in its report, but based on the evidence, the attorney general determined there was not enough evidence to support it. Now, as for Mueller potentially testifying to Congress, AG Barr has repeatedly said that he would have no objection, so it's not clear with the president's tweet if he's simply stating his opinion or if he in fact plans to take action to prevent Mueller from testifying.
A Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee says plans are in the works to get Mueller to appear before the panel.
Until the date comes, we never have an absolute guarantee. The White House has so far indicated they would not interfere with Mr. Mueller's attempts to testify. We hope that won't change.
Congressman David Cicilline on Fox News Sunday. Israel's security cabinet vowing to continue its offensive in the Gaza Strip.
Israel says at least 600 rockets have been fired from Gaza into Israel. The Israeli military responded with airstrikes throughout the Gaza Strip, targeting militant strongholds. At least 25 Palestinians were killed, including 2 infants and 2 pregnant women. The rocket fire from Gaza killed at least 4 in Israel.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Jerusalem, the United Nations calling for an immediate end to the fighting. At least 41 people killed after a passenger plane caught fire and made an emergency landing at an airport in Moscow.
Videos posted to social media showed those passengers scrambling off the plane on emergency exit slides. Now, I've been speaking to an aviation expert, Captain Mike Cofield. He's a former commercial pilot and was a congressional investigator in the TWA Airlines crash. He tells me that this plane, the Super 100, had some engine and pressurization problems in its certification.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. This is Fox News.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
President Trump's still confident that the U.S. can reach a nuclear deal with North Korea.
In response to yesterday's missile tests, he tweeted, "Anything in this very interesting world is possible, but I believe that Kim Jong-un fully realizes the great economic potential of North Korea and will do nothing to interfere or end it. He also knows that I'm with him and doesn't want to break his promise to me."
Fox's Jillian Turner in Washington. Gas prices rising a nickel in the last 2 weeks to a national average of $2.97 per gallon.
The high average in this panel of cities is San Francisco Bay Area, $4.14, and that's for regular grade. The low average is Baton Rouge at $2.45. Somewhere in the middle we have Houston at $2.59 and Baltimore at $2.80. Chicago $3.34.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg says the latest rise is smaller compared to recent price increases. The co-owner of Maximum Security mulling options after his horse briefly won and then quickly lost the Kentucky Derby.
He clearly crossed the finish line first. But two jockeys filed objections saying Maximum Security broke the rules and cut them off during the race. The race officials, called stewards, spent 20 minutes reviewing those complaints, and for the first time in Kentucky Derby history, the winning horse was disqualified. Maximum Security out. Country House declared the new winner.
Fox's Matt Finn at Churchill Downs. Country House entering the Derby as a 65-1 long shot. No contest at the box office.
This is the fight of our lives.
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Avengers Endgame easily keeps the top spot, grossing an estimated $146 million. The Marvel blockbuster hauling in more than $2 billion worldwide. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Get a Coke 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra-large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Mile sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2 million miles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstake starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Takecare Insurance Company has filed a formal protest with the Department of Administration over the bidding process for the Government of Guam Group Health Insurance contract. In a release to the media yesterday, Takecare accuses Guam Regional Medical City of attempting to coerce Takecare into accepting higher rates than what GRMC charges other local insurance providers and trying to bully Takecare into covering all its members at GRMC, not just GovGuam employees and retirees. In its protest, Takecare asserts the request for proposals issued by the Department of Administration as well as Public Law 35-2 are in violation of various other laws. It asks for the RFP to be canceled. In addition, Takecare wants the health insurance contract procurement to be stayed and no award of a group health insurance awarded until the protest is resolved. Takecare's protest was filed on Friday, which was the deadline for submitting bids. The only two health insurers who submitted bids by the Friday deadline were Calvo's Select Care and Aetna. GRMC has not yet responded to a request for comment. The Southern high school student accused in last Thursday's theft of a firearm from a vehicle parked at the Southern High campus is charged as an adult. 17-year-old Christian Kanata appeared before Superior Court Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan Saturday. According to the magistrate complaint, he is alleged to have broken into two pickup trucks parked at the school last Thursday. According to the complaint, a teacher told police that he went to check on his white pickup shortly after noon and found that personnel belongings he had kept in a black pouch were missing. He told another teacher, who then went out and checked his own pickup and found that it, too, had been broken into. Guam DOE officials last week said that a loaded weapon was stolen from a school employee's vehicle, and that led to an hour-long lockdown at the school that lasted until the firearm was recovered. It was found inside a girls' restroom at the school. It was a Smith & Wesson .357 caliber revolver. The magistrate complaint states that two students told police they saw Kanata holding a silver gun that same day. Kanata told police he broke into both pickups, searching for items to steal. According to the complaint, Kanata claims he only stole some change from a white pickup and didn't take anything from the other black pickup. The complaint also reveals that Kanata admitted to police to using crystal meth and marijuana. Kanata initially denied taking the firearm, but later admitted to having it, but said he only found it inside a bag in the parking lot. The complaint does not reveal who owned the weapon. However, police say an investigation is underway to determine whether any charges will be filed against the employee from whose pickup the gun was stolen. We'll have more news after this.
We have some really great home loan programs, but did you know we have great business loans too? Every day we're working with companies to purchase equipment, to buy or build properties, or make tenant improvements. We offer letters of credit, working capital, and term loans, and we make all of our credit decisions here. Commercial loans, commercial banking from Bank Pacific.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, Federal, FDIC, Viva Bank Pacific.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Major General Esther Agagi officially taking command as Adjutant General of the Guam National Guard yesterday. During a ceremony at the Guam Readiness Center, Governor Lulian Guerrero, the first woman to become governor of Guam, declared that it was her honor to appoint the first Chamorro female Adjutant General of Guam. Today marked a historic event, said the governor. Later in her remarks, Agagi, who was a lieutenant colonel prior to her new job, pledged to look after the welfare of the Guam Guard's soldiers, airmen, civilians, and their families. Agagi is the 11th Adjutant General for the Guam National Guard since its establishment nearly 38 years ago. Also yesterday, Chief Master Sergeant Philip Tyron assumed responsibility as Command Chief of the Guam Air National Guard. Tyron stepped in the role vacated by Chief Master Sergeant John Kanata, who is now Deputy Executive Manager of the Guam International Airport Authority. Senator Kelly Marsh wants the Department of Parks and Recreation to reassess its budget to ensure that it has enough funding to keep Guam's parks and restrooms clean. Marsh, whose committee oversees the Department of Parks and Rec, said she would support an increased appropriation for the agency if it's needed to help keep the parks and restrooms in shape. Marsh said that she has called on DPR for a realistic and responsible reassessment of its budget and staffing needs. Acting DPR Director Richard Ibanez told the Post that a contract has been awarded to Guam Cleaning Masters for keeping the parks and restrooms cleaned and maintained. He said that work should begin in June. DPR's current budget is $3.4 million, all from special funds. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
Well, you know, before we get into that, I thought maybe just a couple of minutes on the conversation last hour with Joe Husslein from over at Takecare, and interesting the way now that the bill had turned into law, signed off by the governor, and now it is part of the procurement process for employees and retirees in the government of Guam. A little bit of history on that bill. It was controversial from jump. And one of the reasons why it was so controversial was there was a bag of question marks over what the costs were going to end up being. And not one, but two, but how many of these?
There were just a couple of senators that raised questions about that. But it ended up being approved by a vote of 13-0.
Yeah, big majority of the people over there. Now, they did have access to some kind of financial recommendations from BBMR and the Bureau of Budget Plans, right?
No, the fiscal note said that they couldn't determine what the cost would be.
And that's why I began to refer to them as the 13 blind mice. And we'll use that name now. So that's the way it is. It is some of the predictions that they said were going to come true and were roundly, in some cases, criticized. So, no, that's not going to happen. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your care plan. It's not going to cost any more.
And they're all going to have to keep it for another year.
Yeah, I'll bet you that's what's going to happen is they are going to get to stay on this thing. And so it will be, the third year that the existing plan would have been used.
Last year it was carried over to this year, and it'll probably be carried over to the 2020 year as well.
Just watch. Tell it to the AG. That's what we're going to want to know now. 8:14 in the morning. Yeah, let's do some weather. It's if you like the weather over the weekend, I think you're going to like it for a couple more days. Mike's got his eye on something that is growing out there that has got an invest number. More on that in a second. Mostly sunny, though, today with isolated showers. Easterly winds up to about 15 miles an hour. Highs 89 and overnight lows should be about 78 degrees. I got sunset at 6:37 today, and sunrise was at 5:58 this morning. We anticipate it will come up a little bit earlier tomorrow. And do me a favor, if you're awake around sunrise, run outside and make a selfie of you standing next to the sunrise. Send it in to our WhatsApp number, which is 988-5874, and I'd be happy to post that up on the screen for everybody to see. Michael Knight now with a look at what is happening in terms of the radar, so you know what the ride to work is going to be like.
Got a few showers passing to our south, but it doesn't look like we're going to get anything here to wet our roadways, and so that's what we can look forward to at this point. Looking outside the window here, got nice blue skies, maybe a few high clouds out there, so it's not too bad. Checking satellite real quick because this is where most of the stuff is happening right now. Now, the blobage down to our southwest, lower left of us, that is 90 W Invest. It's a very weak tropical system that's not going to get any stronger than it is right now, but it's a nice little clump of clouds and showers right there as it is. Is it possible for us to move this satellite picture over to the left just a little bit?
Oh, my, things you make me do here.
Know, right? Because we can just barely see the blobage of what now is there we go. 91W is in your screens right there at 160 longitude, and the models are kind of hinting that this thing may start to develop a little bit, and it's actually already showing some signs of this western and southerly. That's really what we look for, is the southerly spin in the clouds that shows that there is actually some development going on there. So this thing may bring some rain to us this weekend. We'll keep an eye on it during the week and let you know, but it won't be anything really strong or anything like that. Yeah. So should be okay. Well, we need the rain.
I hear that. And all right, coming up in a second, an explanation of the scene that is on your screens if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or the Guam Daily Post. And that comes to me in the WhatsApp from Kaz Endo. Why are these people smiling? What are they so happy about? Well, you'll find out here in just a second. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Whether you're going grocery shopping, taking the kids to the mall, or going to work, you need a reliable car that can take you where you need to go. A reliable car also needs reliable insurance. Let Nanbo Insurance make your auto insurance easy and uncomplicated. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show, the really, really fun fun parts being brought to you by just a whole gaggle of guys here, including American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy, never been a better time to go solar. Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for all of your specialty care needs. And for specialty dining experiences, you got to check the Crazy 19 menu at King's.
I'm Edward James Olmos, here to remind you that the second Saturday in May is the annual Letter Carrier Food Drive. The need for food assistance remains high in communities across America, but you can help. Simply leave a bag of non-perishable food near your mailbox on the second Saturday in May, and your letter carriers will do the rest. All food collected stays within your local community. So on the second Saturday in May, please join me and the National Association of Letter Carriers and stamp out hunger.
Yeah, right. Portions of the program also brought to you by Security Title. Ron and Kim are taking a look at things over there, making sure that if somebody comes to you and says, "Yeah, I own it," then you can buy it. Well, you got to make sure that he really owns it. That's the deal. Also brought to you by Takecare, Joe and Greg and the guys. Boys, we never hear from them, right? But also being brought to you by Joey and Dunge and Jen over at Cars Plus. They have your next car is in their lot right now. Go fix that, would you? Go find Cars Plus in Mighty.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah. So I've kept that image up there on the screens here on the Facebook Live. It is a picture of a bunch of really, really happy people. And to tell me why they are very, very happy, none other than Kaz Endo is in the studio to talk about Konquer for 2019. Morning, buddy.
Good morning, everybody.
What the heck was that?
That was my Sunday drinking voice.
You know, I love a man that's honest about it. Yeah. What were we doing yesterday? I don't know. I'm sure there was Jack Daniels involved. So I'm trying to set up. Now we can have a grown-up conversation, and if you don't mind, I'm trying to set up the bar at the house. I'm thinking about maybe getting together. And now I got a friend, and she absolutely loves Patron Silver. So there's a bottle of that. But for my friends that like Scotch, for my friends that like tequila, for not tequila, but for my friends that like vodka and rum and things like that, what are your current brand recommendations for a well-stocked bar?
Well, you can't go wrong with Absolute, Stoli, Grey Goose. You know, usually put them all together and call them super premium.
like it's a blend of fine gasolines, right?
And then you have to judge your customer base. If they ask for anything with Coke in it, send them away.
Yeah, right.
I said, this is a 12 years they've aged this, and you're going to put a soda in it. Get out of here.
Right. Yeah. I like that. And now a lot of people drinking Tito's these days. I don't even know what Tito's is. What is that?
That's a vodka.
It's a vodka.
Yeah,
okay.
It sounds like a tequila.
It sounds like I hear you. I get it. Yeah, no, you're not good yet.
The light. No, it's a handmade from Austin. So it's a Texas vodka.
So what does the Tito's mean? Does it have a story?
It's just the guy, I guess, that names it. I don't know.
That's it?
Yeah.
So there's no origin story behind where the word Tito's come from?
No, but I can tell you this: Russians really like it, and Russians know vodka.
That's what they're drinking. Then,
and they're drinking Tito's. Yeah.
Keep in mind that Texas, a pretty highly Hispanic population.
I heard.
Tito being uncle.
Yeah, maybe.
Like it is here. Maybe it's uncle's
okay,
vodka,
something simple as that. All right, I got it. And for beers. Tricky with beers, right? Because there's so many brands out there, regular brands and house brands, and now craft beers are growing up. What do you think?
Oh, all about the craft beer.
Right?
Yeah.
So you know who I run into over the last couple of days? The people that are going to be opening up Carabao soon.
That's right.
I'll let you know when that happens. All right, so Kaz in the studio. I'll go ahead and put these guys up on the camera for a second. We are multimedia around here, and that means that there's opportunities all over the place for different things that we can show you. And so on screen right now, as I said, a bunch of happy people. Why are they so happy? They're Kaz?
Well, because they're playing. You remember all of us before we got real jobs and real adulting? We used to be at the playground every Saturday morning or at the beginning of school, and we would just hang out with all sorts of people, different grades, different race, hopefully girls. And it was an excuse to play, and you get all sweaty, and then you get back in the classroom. Back then, Some had aircon.
You
some
stand in
didn't.
front of the air conditioner and you're just drenched in sweat. And
Dry the fat, you know, and trying to impress girls.
I recall moments like that in around, I don't know, between the 6th and 8th grade or something like that. And there are all kinds of games that, you're right, all of a sudden we kind of stopped doing that. You might jog, you might play soccer with the guys, but I mean, not a whole lot of things, you know, where short amount of time and a lot of activities to punch through. And I think that's that's one of the beauties behind the Konquer event.
Right. And, you know, we use the term OCR, obstacle course race, but we're more than that. We're kind of we're just a big playground is what we are. And
what game were these guys playing? Now I'm looking at it, I got a couple that are involved in deep lip locking.
The game of love.
The
exactly.
game of love, the most dangerous game of all.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So, but there's not an event at Konquer where they're supposed to kiss, right?
No, that's actually those two got engaged during a Konquer event. So we took a photo of them.
Oh, that's special. A ton of other pictures that I'll cycle through a little bit in the conversation. You got a bunch of Konquer events that are coming up. There's Guam, Saipan, and for the first time, Palau.
No, this is our third year in Palau.
Oh, it is the third year.
So,
okay, I thought. So what's different this year?
This year we're going to be introducing Rota. That'll be the first.
Okay.
That'll be later in the year. But Palau is different in that it's a 2-day event. And we do a Saturday-Sunday event. So one of the reasons, you know, you fly all the way out there. We don't want to just do one thing. We want you to enjoy the whole weekend. And so the first day on Saturday, we do an eco-adventure. So we go through all the rock islands, and we pick one rock island, create a course, create a role-playing event.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, we recreated what it might be like to be a stone money warrior.
Okay,
So
cool.
you went to
Now
the
this one here is not a Konquer picture. This is just fun goofing off on Saturday night.
Well, it looks like
some weekend opportunities going on.
Looks like you're conquering something.
And then, wait, clicking. Are there more like that? It's possible. At any rate, a good time had by all at this particular Konquer event. As you say, you're going up to Rota. Are you going to be able to fit the infrastructure up there? Because they had typhoon last year.
Well, yeah, and that's why we took a visit last month and assessed the island. And, you know, I don't want them to have a mini Konquer because it's sort of like saying, you know, here's the hand-me-down. We want them to have a legitimate event. Yeah, so we're going to do our championship event there. So the smallness in terms of accessibility and so forth is actually part of the charm. Like we'll be chartering a flight where, you know, solo, enduro, top athletes are going to go there to compete for a championship round, whereas our kind of big-scale playground is for everybody. It's recreational. It's meant for weekend warriors. It's meant for families to get together once a year and do something, you know, collective. Because as you know, and I got a big family, you know, the kids start getting bored of dad and mom after, you know, they figure out, hey, I could still use their money without hanging out with them.
Yeah. I got a phone, and every once in a while I'll look up from it and say, I need more money for the data. So, you know, let's break out that ATM, Pop. So I completely understand. So great opportunities for everybody to kind of rekindle that family moment. Great opportunities for businesses to have team building with their employees. Oh, by the way, it's time for Sports with Blake. But it's Sports with Blake and Kaz today, so a little bit centric on what's happening with the Konquer.
I Google imaged Konquer Guam, and there's so many cool stuff that comes up. Just the Google image aspect of it.
Well, it's one of those. It's one of those events. You know, everything is experiential these days, right? So you can invite people to go someplace and have a good time, but unless there's a cool backdrop for a selfie or for pictures to be taken with my team, give me a reason to upload this. Give me a reason to buy a GoPro, right? That's what this is about in my mind.
We even put signs around the course where it's the most picturesque and say selfie break. You know, you get a little time off there. We won't penalize you for taking a selfie break. So
is there a clock with Konquer?
Well, if you're in the competition category, yes.
Yeah.
But
otherwise, it's just complete the course.
Complete the course.
Okay.
And I would say the mix is about 80-20. 80% doing just completion, team building, kind of just having fun, and the 20% guys that are really, you know, into it and want to be number one. And we don't have a problem with that, you know. I mean, everybody has a reason to come. It's a big tent. If you're the Navy SEAL super fit guy that can do 5 backflips, it's going to come in handy. You know?
But if you're, as you point out, just a weekend warrior, it was this or the couch. Guess what? You're going to be able to make it through and have a good time. And as I said, there's opportunities for picture taking all around. Opportunities for swag too. You've got your own little kind of haberdashery here.
So You know, every year we take the time to design something unique for event shirts. And we mix. Sometimes we do cotton because some people prefer cotton. Some people like the dry fit because they like to use it for workouts.
Yeah.
So this year we went back to dry fit. This was the Guam one. You can see that it says 671 there.
Oh,
and then
I
the
got
Saipan
it.
had the 670.
Oh, you're creative. You should have an agency or something. You should
like that,
be
yeah.
in the ad agency business.
And the earlier one that you saw, the couple kissing.
Yeah.
If you angle it right, their shirts spell play.
I saw that. Yeah, it had like the P on the shirt.
But
on the,
I designed it so at the center, if you're just looking at the center, it says L.A. Because I'm an L.A. Dodgers fan. But anyway, this year we've got this dry fit, and it just spells out what you need to participate. You need to be able to jump a little, run a little, climb a little, fall. And I think everybody can handle that one. Crawl, pull, lift, survive, repeat. And so I'll pass this around. You can feel how soft it is. It's because we don't like to egg it up with all the screen.
Oh, yes, because otherwise it feels like a piece of plastic. You're wearing plastic, and so in this case, it's actually, it looks like it's dye sublimated or something like that. So the all of the different colors are actually on the material, not a kind of rubbery, sticky thing that goes on there.
Exactly, it's very smooth.
Yeah, I throw those away when I get those, just because it's like, wow, I'm really happy I got the thing, but I'll never ever wear it because Guam is hot. Why would I wear something? Basically, this the equivalent of a wetsuit. This is not one of them. So our friend Carl with a K, yes, has suggested that there's something going on up there, 24th or so of May.
25th.
25th. Okay.
Yeah, 25th of May is our Saipan event. It marks our 10th event since 2015. So we've been quietly populating this event here and across Micronesia.
Yeah. So he wanted me. He was originally telling me that he wanted me to put together a team. I said, "Don't have the bandwidth. How about if I just show up somewhere?" And he says, "Yeah, maybe we could do that." But so now you are suggesting that I do the trifecta, right?
Yes, come to all three, and we have a special salute to military. We have the Triple Crown. So because they have very little time to get rest and relaxation, they're always sort of on assignment out here, especially with the Typhoon Alley here. If they do all three, the top team will receive $1,000 from us as appreciation of their efforts out here.
Cool.
But because you mentioned Carl earlier with APL and also Bank of Guam, who's been our sponsor since day one.
Yep.
We've gotten to a point where we can actually have free entries for kids 17 and under.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's free. We're working towards everybody free, all the time.
Yeah.
But that's going to take a little bit more time to get there. But when we first started, we didn't know how well it's going to do, and so naturally we just sort of price it out like any event. Somebody has to pay something per head, and I remember that first year, a family of 4 came, and this lady wanted to sign up all her children, and math. When you did the math, it came out to like $300-400.
It's expensive, yeah.
And I kind of felt bad, but I also don't want to be broke and not be able to do this again. So I gave her a little discount, and I peeked out the window, and I thought maybe she just had some bankroll, but she didn't. She had a little crunky car, and I was like, man, I feel even really worse. And then I found out the reason they wanted to do it. Their oldest son was getting deployed, and they wanted to do something as a family.
Oh, it's getting me right in the feels, buddy.
Right. So after that, I said, you know what? We're going to figure out how to get kids to do this free. We're just going to have to ask sponsors to step up.
Pony up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Speaking of sponsors, limited amount of time. I want to say this is the one for Saipan. So I got the sponsor list for Saipan. I can read this one, but understand that they're going to be people that are sponsors of all of the different venues and all of the different events. The Marianas, APL, that's American President Lines. Bang of Guam is in here. Marianas Visitors Authority, Fiesta. Oh my God, I love the Fiesta in Saipan.
I love the Fiesta.
And Ariel and those guys just absolutely take good care. Coors Light, ITNE, GoPro. I mentioned GoPro just because, like I said, I've got a GoPro, and I got a GoPro for specific events in my life. Falling down literally falls and trails and rivers in the boondocks. Because I think that everybody should at least once a day should have an excuse to take a selfie. At least once a week, do something epic enough to break out the GoPro. Trivision Media Group is in here. I don't know what that is. DR LLC?
DR Safety. They're our safety company. They manage all the safety OPSEC and construction.
Saipan Brewing Company?
craft beer. That's the craft beer. Royal Soil. That's a lifestyle brand out in Saipan.
Tribe Marianas
Probably
and
know those guys.
Vantage Advertising. Okay, so we got some of the usual suspects and some new names. Who are the sponsors for the Guam stops?
Well, they're pretty much all the major, the ones that sponsor us, they're in business in all 3 countries.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's basically the Bank of Guam, APL, Coors Light, and ITNE.
How do we sign up?
It's very easy. Just go to konquersports.com. It's
Also spelled with a K.
Konquer, sports.com. Everybody goes, why don't you just spell it the regular way? I can't trademark that.
If we put a K, like Carl Pangolino with a K. Incidentally, Carl's going to be in the studio about this time tomorrow. Okay. And the reason is he is in charge of putting together the get-together for... Oh, the name's going to escape me now. The fellow from Proa, Chris Bajado.
Okay.
Chris is
For the golf tournament.
Yeah, for the golf tournament that he's got coming up, and he wants to bang the drum and get some excitement. So he'll be in talking about that, and I imagine a few other things. Maybe putting together a Konquer team for him and I. And how many people on a team?
Well, you start with 5 people on a team. Usually it's 10, but this year with our new theme of apocalypse, where zombies are chasing you as you're trying to accomplish the course. Smaller is better. Smaller herds better.
Right, right.
So if
you go faster,
you go faster, right? And so it's a team of 5. You accomplish 5 what we call 5 boss obstacles. Usually we have 20 or 30. This year we've consolidated them, make them bigger, because the biggest obstacle is not getting caught, not getting eaten.
Right.
And so imagine a giant scale obstacle course with the game of tag integrated into it.
With zombies.
With zombies.
With zombies, all
and
right.
then bottomless beer at the finish line.
Oh, you should have started with that.
Well,
we call that in the media business. We refer to that as burying the lead.
Burying the lead.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say there's going to be beer at Konquer. How do we join? Show me the shirt.
We'll do reverse Konquer for you, where you start there, and then you'll get the bandwidth to finish the course.
Well, see now this is already speaking my language, as we have done for all of these years. Anything that we haven't talked about yet that you need to get discussed?
Just wanted to let everybody know this is an open tent. This is. If you don't, I know we were joking around about bandwidth and physicality, but really, if you join this with friends, you can accomplish it, you can conquer it. And if you really want that, like, pure adrenaline challenge, do it solo. That's how it's built. And I welcome everybody to give it a try.
So people from Guam can sign up for the Rota and Saipan events and Palau events, right?
Absolutely.
You don't have to, it's not like locked by geofenced.
No, it's not. And in fact, we have a lot of those cross-pollination all the time. Best of all, if you are a visitor, you enter free because it's part of the visitor program.
All right. When we get a chance, because I got to break away, we got just a couple of minutes with Blake for any headline sports that he's got. And then we've got actual headlines coming up. Dafne Shimizu, I believe we've got lined up, and Officer Paul Tapau in the next half hour of the program. But one of these days, just because you bring food and swag with you, let's set up a whole other interview with you, because I think, one of the things about Kaz is he's got a really good 360-degree view of what business is like on Guam, what the media community is like, and that's a changing landscape almost on a daily basis. How to integrate social media and your traditional advertising, what is changing in terms of design and being able to, catch a viewer's eye, catch a listener's eye or something like that. I think it'd make a fun conversation.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to come back for that.
And because it's a conversation that we have just anyway, but I think it'd be fun to have on the actual radio. Blake, you got any big sports here for the weekend?
I just got a wrap up and a rundown of what happened on the boys' playoffs pertaining to volleyball, because we are down to the Final Four. Ukudu, they overcame the St. Paul Warriors, and they sent them home. That happened in 4 straight sets. In other quarterfinal matches, number 3, the Harvest Eagles, they swept the St. John Knights. They will face...
Harvest still in.
Harvest is still in, and they will face number 2, the Teads High Titans, who took care of the Notre Dame Royals on Friday.
And then there's Duenas.
And then, of course, Duenas, they continue their season-long rampage. Just sweeping everybody. They gave up 1 set to the Eagles, but they made short work of, they made short work of the Islanders. I'm sorry. Yeah, JFK. Yeah, because the Eagles, they beat
won
St.
their
John.
event against St. John's.
So,
Okay, cool.
so it's going to be, looks like Harvest is going to have their work cut out for them as they have to face off against FD. So that'll be fun.
The last time they got together, FD beat them because they had like 8 guys against Mason Caldwell.
They've traded championships, right? Right in the last couple of years. So, who won it? Was a Harvest last year. Last year, right? Or did FD?
Year before, I think.
And then FD won it last year. Okay. So they have traded here in the last couple of years, but it's all leading up to the championship game, 7 p.m., May 15th at the ULG Calvo Fieldhouse. So
that's a must attend.
And it is also the signaling of end of fourth quarter, which means end of school. So that's coming up as well. Sports is about to get dry, Ray.
But we got football season coming up.
We do got football season, plus we got Konquer to quench our summer thirst.
Absolutely.
While you're on that volleyball, if I may, I sit on the Volleyball Federation.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing in later this year, and we'll invite you folks.
Okay.
We're doing the first ever professional beach tournament.
Oh.
It's a one-star event.
Yeah.
It's an official FIVB event.
Very cool.
And world-class athletes will come down here to get championship points to go to the Olympics.
I got a little bit of a brief on that yesterday as we were doing our beach thing over at Cinco de Mayo. We actually had some volleyball players, the professionals that were looking for $200 because they got to go to the SPG or something like that. All right, 8:37 in the morning, and headlines with Kevin Kerrigan on the other side of this.
If you've ever struggled for breath, you know what a scary experience it is. Whether you have asthma, emphysema, COPD, lung cancer, or another respiratory illness, the right medical treatment makes all the difference. GRMC's Pulmonology Clinic has the latest technology and respiratory equipment, staffed by world-class pulmonologists. Make an appointment today with GRMC's Pulmonology Clinic and start breathing easier. GRMC, where patients are partners.
I might figure out how to wear this on the program here. A buddy of mine swears by these things. Always keeps this big headband on his head. And I'm like, why do you do that? You don't sweat that much. He says, yeah, but it's great for taking a nap because you just pull the thing over your eyes and it's lights out like that. 8:38 in the morning. Sorry to make you wait there, Kevin, but we got time to jump into some headlines now. For the Guam Daily Post, this is Kevin Kerrigan.
Day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, 52-year-old Vincent John Menno pleading not guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition and a notice of forfeiture. Menno appearing in district court last Thursday to answer to an indictment handed down by a federal grand jury on April 24th. According to court documents, Menno was accused of possessing a .38 caliber pistol and 6 assorted rounds of ammunition for it. Menno has an extensive record, including a 2017 arrest on allegations of illegal possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and possession of a concealed firearm without an ID. Senator Kelly Marsh wants the Departments of Parks and Rec to reassess its budget to ensure it has enough funding to keep Guam's parks and restrooms clean. Marsh, whose committee oversees DPR, said she would support an increased appropriation for the agency if it's needed. Marsh said she's called on DPR for a realistic and responsible reassessment of its staffing and funding needs. Acting DPR Director Richard Ibanez told the Post that a contract has been awarded to Guam Cleaning Masters for cleaning and maintenance. He said that work should begin in June. DPR's current budget is about $3.4 million. Department of Agriculture Director Chelsea Munya-Brecht reminds island residents that it is illegal to sell octopus on island. You're allowed to catch octopus for personal consumption, said Brecht, but you cannot sell them. Article 3 of Chapter 12 of the Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations states that marine invertebrates shall not be sold, traded, or bartered. Anyone caught selling octopus is subject to a fine of $250. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I think so. It's 8:40 in the morning, and that is iConnect time. Call them at 888-8888 and ask them about some great plans. I mean, if you don't need the absolute biggest bandwidth, and if you don't want to pay the absolute highest price, then call them because they've got plans for just about every pocketbook at iConnect.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Oh, traffic gizmo, like there's going to be some traffic on a Monday morning. Well, you know what, there might be. I never say never. Every time I say that it's after 8 o'clock and we're second string traffic, I'll get hit with somebody slowing things down somewhere. But not seeing it on the traffic maps here this morning as I look at the gizmo. Some of the usual spots around this time are over by the airport intersection, Marine Corps Drive and 10 Alpha over there. Seeing a little bit of traffic making your way on Route 4 towards Sinahanya and through the Ordot area. You might see a little bit of a slowdown there at an intersection or two. Same thing down in the downtown Hagetnya area. Now starting to busy up in front of Navy Hospital and making our way down to Sumai. As usual, things a little bit busy at the intersection of 1 and 2. Watch out for it. Nothing that's going to slow you down major that I'm seeing on the traffic gizmos. If I'm not seeing something, maybe I'm not zoomed into exactly where you are. If there's an accident or something the other drivers need to know about, 888-8255 or WhatsApp me pictures 988-5874.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Wicka Wicka playing into guitar here. Sound like old 70s funk, if you ask me. I was knocking around on Twitter over the weekend and found something I absolutely had to share on Facebook. But while I'm talking about Facebook, shouts to Roland Torres and Michelle Munoz online. I got Venue Guam, Alex Ridge. Good to see Alec Nicosha. And Tommy Tenorio Bernardo. Lacia Casil is online this morning. And was spinning some outrageous tunes. I gave her a couple of cool late 70s disco tunes to play for the audience at Jimmy D's yesterday. Nobody ran screaming, so I will assume that at least the two of us liked it. I got Kenny Williams online, Lynn Perez, Lisa Geisinger, Big Sister Shelley's there, Greg Karabrock from Takecare's on, Yuka Hechanova. I see Steve Reuter, Rai St. Nicholas, Mary Park with a K, Joe Dizon is online as well. We were talking earlier about octopus and saying, I don't know how to catch an octopus. And Pam says, you got to turn over rocks. You'll be surprised how they can hide. My granddaughter turned a rock over in shallow water, and a big octopus came crawling out, about 3 times the size of the rock. Yeah, there are those kind of capable creatures, aren't they? But anyway, so I was messing around on Facebook, and I saw something that I'm like, dude, I got to share with you. It is the Cashbox Top 100 Singles from this weekend in 1974. Now, I can't play the songs for you because they're all still in copyright land, but let me just give you a few of the titles of the bulleted songs, and you'll remember them almost immediately. One was Ray Stevens did a song called The Streak. You remember that? Because that was popular around those times. People would just get naked and go running up and down the roadways. Tubular Bells from The Exorcist was in the top 10. So was The Entertainer from the movie The Sting. And that got to play. That was number 4. Number 3 song that weekend, Dancing, Dancing, Dancing. She's a dancing machine. You remember that old Jackson 5 tune? Number 3. Number 2, The Show Must Go On. Which was a Three Dog Night classic. And at that was number 3. Number 2, The Sound, TSOP from MFSB. Mother, Father, Sister, Brother. Classic again from the mid-'70s, right?
Yeah, that's when all music was just music.
Yeah.
There was no country. There was no rock. There was no R&B.
And just throw everything, and look, it's popular. People like it, so let's play the heck out of it on the radio. The Locomotion from
Grand Funk Railroad.
Grand Funk Railroad was the number 1 song. The Cashbox wasn't broadcast. It was Cashbox, if I recall, was the jukebox machines, right?
Right.
So these were songs that people were actually paying money to listen to. Dairy Queen, Saturday afternoon, Shell. Am I right? Am I right? 888-8255, 888-TALK. Very close to her personal friend. She was at the Chamber Gala on Saturday night, sitting with the Shimizu family as they were celebrating, I don't know, I can't remember, was it 80 years as members of the Chamber of Commerce?
70 years. It's Ambrose's 70th anniversary.
I'm sorry, that's right. It's Uncle Frank's 80th birthday.
Yes, he turned 80 last year, right?
Yeah, that's keep the two numbers unconnected in my head. Anyway, Def is with the Department of Revenue and Taxation, and it was nice because all these people that own businesses or buildings, $1 million or more, she was actually making collections right there at the Hyatt. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Ray, for bringing that up on Saturday night, and it was a good time. But thank you for having me on and just to talk about the Guam Chamber Gala. It was actually a really nice night, and it was nice to see everybody come out and dress up like Men in Black. And actually, when I walked in, I didn't know what the theme was, and when I saw all those people in ties, Judge Benzon, and that was really cool. So they did a great job. Oh, they absolutely did. I've got some pictures of the evening. They're all pictures of me with beautiful women, but to give you a sense of the kind of fun and frivolity that we were having. And while I'm rotating these pictures on the Facebook Live, a conversation, the initial conversation, the reason why is we're hoping to get some kind of guidance either from Rev Tax or the Department of Administration sometime soon about what the nature is of the 2018 returns. It seemed like there might have been a fumble last week on the announcement that we had 900 some odd checks going out to the tune of X millions of dollars, and it was I got the impression that a big chunk of them were going to be the 2018 returns, but that wasn't necessarily the case. Well, I'm actually looking at the press release that was issued, and it's a joint press release that's issued by DOA and Rev Tax, and what it says is that the refunds were for error-free returns filed up to January 28th. And so, we did begin to pay out some returns for January 28th, 2019. But of course, as you know, that we're still processing and paying out returns for prior years. And so, of course, there were some returns for prior years that were included in that. But, if it wasn't clear, I guess our message is that it was returns filed up to. So, it could include prior periods as well. Okay. All right. But at which point moving forward are we going to see the majority of tax refund checks coming out based on good 2018 returns? Well, I think it says something that we've already begun to pay out some January 28th. And so, I think the expectation now going forward is since we've already started January 28th, that we'll be seeing more of the ones that are filed January 28th going forward. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't have an amount for you at this time. Right. Of course, we'll let you know as soon as we do. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that going forward now that a good amount of what's going to be paid out is going to be for January 28th going forward. Gotcha. Now, all of that is based on collections and cash flow, right? So, how are we looking on that now that we passed a heavy deposit time on April the 15th? Is it, recognizing that there are still people that are coming in paying withholding taxes and business privilege taxes and things like that. Are we going to be able to maintain a fairly frequent and high-rolling refund schedule? Well, that remains, every month on a monthly basis, our collection numbers can change. Yeah. And what I think that is happening, well, on a monthly basis, what's called the CRER, which is the Consolidated Revenue and Expenditure Report. I get that every month, Daph, and I swear to God, you're going to have to sit down with me and tell me how to read it, because I like to think that I'm as smart as the average bear, and I go through that thing, and it reminds me that I failed math 4 times at Duenas. Well, what's really, there's a lot of really important information on that report, but of course there's the collections amounts. And so on one of the pages of the report, it actually shows the year-to-date for the fiscal year collections, and it compares it with what's been budgeted. And so the April CRER will actually be due on May 20. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have the final numbers, but if you look at the March 2019 report, and I don't have it in front of me, but what I do recall is that we were our collections were slightly above what was projected for, through the period ending March 31.
Okay, that's the part. Then that's the part that I say I want my 1% of the business privilege tax back.
Well, Ray, we really, and I think that our DOA director did mention that we're always kind of running from a month to month, and again, we're just starting this fiscal year, and so it still remains to be seen like where we are going to be ending up with collections.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that we've been working hard to collect. We've sent cases to the AG's office, and we don't want to send cases to the AG's office, but once we've exhausted all our efforts, we do. We had 2 cases which the AG's office filed with the courts within just the last couple of weeks. And and we're going to continue to do that so that we can get collections up. But again, we're collections is something that fluctuates from month to month, and we never really know where we're going to be. But we're working very hard. Our team is working very hard to make sure that we collect on as much of the outstanding taxes that are due as possible.
There is a story, Daph, on the front page of the Saturday PDN. It says, according to Adeloop, more refunds to be sent Monday. The next batch of tax refunds for 2018 income tax returns are expected to be mailed Monday, said Janella Carrera, spokeswoman for the Office of Governor. As of 5 o'clock on Friday, no other details were released. The confirmed number of checks and the cutoff filing date will be announced May the 6th, according to Carrera. Well, it's still early on May the 6th. Are you anticipating getting any checks and envelopes today?
I think that's pretty likely, and we're working on that. In fact, I've been communicating with Janella even this morning on that. But again, information is very dynamic. It's constantly changing, right? And so, we are working, and our team has been working to make sure that we have something out. And but again, we don't have anything final yet on figures.
Okay.
So we can share that. But I can share that since we started early on after we started, Director Byrne and I have been working to make sure that on a weekly basis we're communicating on refunds. We know that it's very important to our people, and I'll tell you, our team here, we're front line when it comes to refunds, and we recognize the importance of refunds to our people. We hear of the hardships that people have and of how much they need their refunds. But, if you give me, what I wanted to share, though, is, of course, we're guided by the permanent injunction. And I'm sure you're familiar with the permanent injunction.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Ray?
Yep.
But,
6 months?
So, there was there are actually 2 important issues which were addressed by the permanent injunction. One was the timely payment of refunds, and basically what the permanent injunction the permanent injunction states is that, A status returns must be paid within 6 months of the filing date or the due date, whichever is later, right? And so that's on the payment side. But there was also, another item which was very important, which I wanted to share, which had to do with, if you recall, there was an expedited refund payment program. Mm-hmm. And the permanent injunction actually addresses that. And as per the permanent injunction, well, basically what happened was the permanent injunction put an end to the expedited refund program. And so, where in the past there was expediting of refunds for hardships, and we no longer are able to do that. And so it's really first in, first out. It's based on when you file. And
yeah, but you'll recall that there was so much potential for abuse on that. There were no actual rules or regulations that drove the decisions on who would be able to jump in front of regular taxpayers to get these expedited returns. And it always felt like it was all pari-pari, and whoever's got the hookups can get access to their refunds a little bit earlier. So I was glad that the judge put that guardrail in place for everybody. 8:55. Now, as you pointed out earlier, one of the most important things is standing on collections and enforcement. And you've got something happening with B&Bs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so we have some really great news. Our team has been working so hard on the B&B situation. And I know, I think late Feb, early March, I was talking about us issuing notices of violation. So in April, we actually issued our first notices of violation for B&Bs. It's the first time that we've ever issued notices of violation. I'm very proud of our team. I mean, they worked so hard to get these out, and it's honestly really exciting news. So this is a great win for our agency and for our government. We're cracking down on these people who are operating without licenses. Now, I just want to share, though, that, we're able to actually issue notices of violation whether you're not licensed or if you're not properly licensed. So our first notices of violation went out to some of the operators who are operating without a license. But, we are now going to be starting on looking at people who are licensed but who don't have proper licenses. And so, I want to encourage our people to come in. If you're operating a B&B and you're not licensed properly, please come in, because our team is actually working actively with taxpayers who are trying to comply.
Yeah, well, there might be some people trying to call and ask for information. Rudy Magallanes online is asking if more attention can be paid on answering the phone at Rev Tax.
Well, thank you, Rudy, for asking. What we're working on, we actually have had to have meetings with the Office of Technology, who is the one that is basically in charge of our, our PBX system, or it's actually a VoIP system, not PBX. But so we are going to be working with them on call flow. If he has any issue, please feel free to call the director's office, 635-1779, and those get transferred either to me directly, or we can go ahead and patch those through to the right department. We have like 20 branches, so it's really difficult at times. And we have so many things happening here. It may be difficult at times for us to answer, but if you call 635-1779, that's the director's office, we'll do our best to, if we're not able to answer your question, we'll make sure that we get back to you or get someone to get back to you.
Games of chance at the casino, that's going to give an opportunity for some additional hours and maybe even some overtime to employees and agents of the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Have you had a chance to pore over the as-passed version of the legislation to figure out what your responsibilities are going to be to ensure that we've got adequate collections and reporting in the casinos and in the house of cards and the games of chance?
No, I haven't looked at the final version, and we haven't had the opportunity, but I have, over the weekend, I did see Senator Guido Terlahi, who talked to me a little bit about it. Our main concern is just making sure that we have not only our compliance people who are out there, but also we want to make sure that we also have some of our taxpayer enforcement people, because they're the ones that, our compliance people, they deal with the compliance side, but they don't necessarily deal with the calculation of taxes and things like that. That's not their specialty. So what we're intending to do is have both our compliance people and some taxpayer enforcement people. It could be our criminal investigation branch people or our auditors out there. And so they'll be out there making sure that, things are operating as they should.
We'd like to see something like that. I'm a little bit fuzzy on how everything is going to be reported, where it is that the Rev and Tax personnel are going to be, so that they can maintain as close an eye on the transactions, because we're not using necessarily cash. So it seems to me that the location where you would have your people is at whatever booth they are selling the chips at, so that you can watch money go out and then watch money come back, watch it come back in.
Right, and so the way that at least the original documents that we were looking at were worded was that that Rev and Tax would have basically unfettered access to all areas of the carnival, and so that we would be able to, whether it's within like the cashier's cage or out inside the casino, or even to get access, for example, if there's video or there's equipment, CCTV equipment, so that we have full access and we can review and be in there. And so, we're going to be out there and making sure that we're doing our job. Yeah.
Well, we'll do our best to help you and get the word out. I'll be watching my WhatsApp for any indications that there's going to be another batch of checks going out today. In the meantime, Daph, I know how busy you are, so I really, really appreciate your time. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks so much. Have a great day, Ray.
Certainly will.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Dafne Shimizu from the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Now Fox News Live in progress.
Hard emergency landing at a Moscow airport.
This is the same kind of plane that was grounded in 2016 by Russian aviation authorities over safety concerns after inspectors discovered metal fatigue in the tail wings of a plane. Sukhoi Superjets were also grounded in Mexico in 2018 because of delays with engine maintenance. The Sukhoi Superjet was brought to market to replace outdated Soviet-era aircraft, but had also been used in some other countries like Armenia and Mexico. No U.S. airline flies this kind of plane.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. President Trump weighing in on talk of special counsel Robert Mueller appearing before Congress.
Today, Democratic House member David Cicilline, who's on the House Judiciary Committee, said on Fox News Sunday that they were set for Mueller to testify in a little more than a week.
A tentative date has been set of May 15th, and we hope the special counsel will appear.
Cicilline had to clarify that no agreement to testify has been officially reached yet. But the president has said in a tweet today that Mueller should not testify. He says Democrats are looking for a redo after he says no obstruction was found.
Fox's Gernal Scott, Democrats threatening to hold Attorney General Barr in contempt unless he produces Mueller's entire report without redactions. The leader of Hamas saying the group is ready to return to a state of calm if Israel stops airstrikes in Gaza. At least 4 Israelis and 23 Palestinians killed in the latest clashes.
The Israelis have every right to defend themselves. I've seen video that we can't validate just yet, but where there have been strikes on homes, civilian populations. These rockets were fired with civilians around them in order to protect from return fire.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Fox News Sunday. This is Fox News.
If you're driving, chances are you'll need gas soon. And by the growl in your tummy, a trip to the grocery store too. But don't just buy gas and groceries without getting double miles. Instead, apply for the new United credit card from First Hawaiian Bank and start earning double miles towards your next trip. Gas, groceries, getaway. With the new United credit card, apply at FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Another bump at the gas pumps.
This is a 5-cent rise over the past 2 weeks to a national average price of $2.97 for regular. Since mid-January, there's been a 66 cents per gallon surge in the price, and in the prior 2 weeks, there was a 13-cent jump. So this nickel is greatly slowed, and there are reasons to suppose that the price might now be peaking.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg. The co-owner of Maximum Security mulling options after his horse was disqualified at the Kentucky Derby.
For about 20 minutes, Maximum Security, the horse, was declared the victor of the 2019 Kentucky Derby. The video clearly shows the horse crossing the finish line well ahead of his competitors, but then confusion and even uproar as 2 jockeys filed objections saying Maximum Security broke the rules and basically cut them off during the race. Spectators and participants held their breath for the official decision, and for the first time in Kentucky Derby history, the winning horse was disqualified. Maximum Security out, Country House declared the new victor.
Fox's Matt Finn at Churchill Downs. President Trump turns allegations of collusion into a moneymaker.
After President Trump's post-Mueller report victory lap, new merchandise went on sale. The items include $30 collusion delusion t-shirts and witch hunt mugs. Buyers are also snatching up white tees that show President Trump's tweet in late March following AG William Barr's summary of his findings of the Mueller report. The tees say complete and total exoneration. The items are for sale on shop.donaldjtrump.com. The store's bestseller by far remains a $25 Make America Great Again caps, which are closing in on their $1 million sale. Marcus White, Fox News.
A campaign spokesperson says the president is a branding master and all of the best ideas come from his messaging and tweets. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
5 after 9. That's that gibberish language that we all learned at Men in Black. 5 after 9 o'clock in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. Portions of the program, the big important parts brought to you. You know the part where Daphne gives you basically her office number? That's brought to you by APL, where they're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. Guam Regional Medical City. What do they got over there? It's, let me see. Your first choice for your specialty care needs. Of course, the guys over. Oh, take break now? No. Keep going? I'm sorry. It's, I forgot how to read the screen again. Portions of the program brought to you by Cars Plus up in Mighty. Your new car is waiting for you on the lot there. Get with Joey and Jen and Dunge and fix it so that it's at your house instead of over on their lot. And breakfast over at King's today. They got the crazy 19 menu. It's as much fun to eat as it is for me to talk about. So find some of that in Tamuning or Harmon at King's.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
What's up? What's up? And the answer is, I don't know. I've never been there. I stole that line from Douglas Adams. I consider him one of the greatest writers of the late 70s and early 1980s. If you've never read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe or any number of other books that he wrote with a purely British dryness, I would encourage you to pick those up every once in a while. And you know, I see, like, my friends will post, you know, stories of books that they've read and stuff like that. And I sometimes feel bad. I sometimes feel rather inadequate because I don't read a lot for pleasure. A lot of what I read, you know, limited bandwidth and whatever. A lot of what I read has to do with work, trends in the industry, in the talk radio industry, trends in broadcasting and management and things like that. I mean, just real important kind of knuckle dragging topics. Running stuff. I read a little bit about running every once in a while. I'm in a book now where they're challenging the traditional marathon training mindset, which is you need to torture yourself in order to be prepared to run 26.2 miles in a race. There is a new kind of thinking that talks about stronger adaptations of your muscles that you should be able to do with you know, your longest run being around 9 miles. As opposed to, you know, taking all day Saturday or Sunday and trying to get in a long 20 or 21 miler as part of your training. But I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. I gotta read the rest of the book. Anyway, so my point is, I don't spend a lot of time doing a lot of reading for pleasure. I will, depending on what the cover of the book looks like and whether or not somewhere in the dust jacket it has the words delightful. That's what I want to read. I want to read something that is delightful. I don't want to read something that's going to throw all kinds of drama. I mean, we all already have drama in our lives. Why would you open a book to read up about fictional people and their drama? So, personally, if you know of a couple of books, and all of the Douglas Adams book have the word delightful in them, then read up on that. I can give you a couple of other guys. Mark Cruz, right? Clive Cussler and Tom Clancy. I think Pop read every Tom Clancy book there ever was, cover to cover, and knew everything that went on chapter and verse. I just, you know, I never got the. I want to say I read an entire one of the Tom Clancy books. I can't remember exactly which one it was. No, don't worry about that for now. I'm just going to riff for a little bit if you don't mind. But one of the things about Clancy, and if you're a Clancy fan, you know this. Clancy likes to take a long time and dress up a scene. And that's why the books are 18 miles thick, because he can take something like somebody making a cup of coffee and have that run about 10 pages. I'm not exaggerating, and you know it. So anyway, but I appreciate that, Tom Clancy. I'll just watch them. I'll wait until it comes out as a movie. 888-8255. Who else is playing around? Pam Duvall is on. Big Sister Shelley there. Mo Evangelist has chimed in today. So is Bobby Taitano. Good to see you there. And we got Joyce Bamba, et cetera, et cetera. Thanks very much for being a part of the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live broadcast. So you might be wondering, okay, what have we punched through today? Have we gotten to anything big? And the answer is not really. I'm trying to figure out what it is at the beginning of this week that is going to be noisy shoe dropping. You know, what issues that we've got out there. There's the issue, and it started to bubble up Friday, was it Thursday, where they had the lockdown over at Southern High School. And they said there was somebody got a car broken into, and the gun that was in the car got stole. And I guess they were able to find it on the campus. And now we know a little bit more about the story, including the name of the 17-year-old allegedly suffering from meth, maybe at the time, that has now been pinned. They've pinned this on him, and he's going to be tried as an adult. This kid's in trouble. This kid is in big trouble. But what we're not hearing, and it seems like the answer to the question, everybody knows the answer, but they're just not making it public. Who is the guy that broke the law first? Mm-hmm. And he's the dude that, despite the signs, despite the I don't know, it seems to me everybody knows schools are gun-free zones. So who was the guy that brought the gun in the car on the campus?
Yeah, and what kind of gun really doesn't matter, but we're not talking about a .22 pistol.
No, .357, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pack one of those from time to time.
The second most powerful handgun
Very
in the world.
rarely ever pack that gun because it's so heavy.
Yeah,
and
that's a lot of steel.
Yeah, there's plenty. And the rounds that go in it have got some juice behind them. So, look, this could have gone to all kinds of wrong at Southern High. Huh.
But he found it in a
17-year-old
bag.
kid with a meth.
Come on, he found it in a bag in the parking lot.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I thought that was a great story, though, for a 17-year-old.
Yeah. No, this. Where did that come from?
Homework.
Where'd that come from? You know, and we were talking about just a regular day of school. This wasn't CCD, man. This wasn't, a school in Poly. This was a regular day. And you know how kids are. 17. They got meth rolling around in the head, for heaven's sakes. Lucky that we didn't get anybody shot at that. And it all starts with the irresponsible gun owner, or in this case, it feels like an irresponsible gun owner, brought a weapon to school. And there's a lot of different ways that you can secure a weapon. And it might be one of those things. I forgot. And I'll tell you what, every once in a while, I'll be walking around because I have a concealed, right? And I'll be walking around and I'll walk into some place and go, oh, they don't like me to bring guns here. And so as a courtesy, I will go back to the car and put the gun in the safe that's in a hard to access place in the car, right? And you can go to Benson, you can go to Home Depot. I think you can go to the hardware center up in Dedido, and I'm almost positive. I'm trying to remember where my buddy Mike Tomorowski's got a place where they sell a lot of gun stuff, up to and including gun safes that you put in cars. You're going, oh, you put a gun safe in a car. How do you do that? Well, the good ones that you buy have got a cable that will lock basically to a chassis portion on the car, like someplace where you'd put a baby's car seat. It's got this little thing. You put something on that, it's not coming out. It's the car. You've attached it to the car. So you've got a cable that runs from there into the gun safe, and now it's going to be harder to take out. So that would be my other question: is did the guy have any means of otherwise securing a .357?
Yeah. And the other thing I haven't heard is if the 17-year-old and it's. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. But did he actually break into the car, or was the car just unlocked and he just was checking unlocked doors? Because that's what car thieves will do. Yeah, they'll check unlocked cars, and then they find one, and it's a
always
surprise.
Lock the car. So that's Pam. That's what we're talking. It's a teachable moment. Yeah, teachable moment. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, no, I want to say it like Peter Falk in Columbo. There's just one more thing. Just one more thing that I got. On the evening of the transpiring of this event, did not. So we've got another gun grabbing incident of one kind. He's being charged with that. I don't know if you took a look at what the kid's getting charged with, but they're throwing a lot of books at this kid for what he's got. What are the charges? A number of charges from today's Guam Daily Post. He was charged with 2 counts of burglary to a motor vehicle as a second-degree felony. Possession of a firearm without a Guam firearms identification card as a third-degree felony. Illegal possession of a concealed firearm as a third-degree felony. And it's funny because he's going to get pinched with possession of a firearm in a school zone as a third-degree felony. But no word, like I said, on the guy with the original sin, the dude that brought the gun. Everybody, I guarantee it, everybody knows who it was at the school. And it might have leaked already, but I don't know if anybody's actually covering it. Frankly, it's one of those things where I'm waiting for Chris Barnett or Troy Torres to say, hey, guess what? I know who knows it. I know who brought that gun to the school that little Chris was able to steal. So that's going to come out, and then we need to watch that. Look, I'm a 2A guy. And frankly, and we talked about this, I'm the guy that says, no, take the gun-free zone signs down and replace them with signs that say, some of our teachers and members of our staff are armed. If you intend to do harm to them or any of the children for whom we care for on a daily basis, that will be met with a lethal response.
Yeah, if you shoot us, we'll shoot you back.
We'll shoot you right back, yeah. And we're trained. We know how to do this. Yeah, what are we talking about? Hiding? No, we're not going to hide. We'll come and find you, is what's going to happen. We hear a gunshot, everybody's running in that direction, right? So that's what I'd like to see. But the law is the law, and it's a gun-free zone, and you're not supposed to bring the gun to school. So there's a guy that needs to get pinched for the original sin that has been cast here, and if he doesn't, I will be the first to say travesty of justice.
No, he has to, because it's cause and effect.
Yeah.
I mean, without him having that gun on campus, the kid would not have gotten the gun from his truck. Now, yes, the kid would have broken into his truck and stolen some, I don't know, envelopes or something. Who knows? But he wouldn't have.
Yeah, because everybody has envelopes in their car.
Of course. Don't you?
The ones I stole from the bank.
See?
What?
That's what I'm saying.
No, just because sometimes, you're in a hurry and you don't want to hold everybody up over at the ATM. So I always grab a stack of the envelopes, the deposit envelopes, have them in the car, and I will pre-fill them out. That way, as a courtesy to the people in the ATM line behind me.
That's, yeah.
Because I'm a nice guy. I'm that guy. So that's why if... mostly First Hawaiian. If the envelope thing is thin, that means that I've been by and picked up about a year's worth of envelopes. So there's that to riff on. There's a couple of other things in the table of contents that, frankly, I haven't really gotten to. Takecare has filed their protest, and we did get to that, obviously. Joe Husslein on the line at, 7:40 or something like that, and we talked for a long time about the disagreements that Takecare has with GRMC, which surprises no one. No one should be surprised. Everybody said we saw this coming, and everybody said that when they were talking about it, the public hearings and things like that, everybody said, no, that's not what's going to happen. They're going to, what they're going to charge? They're going to get charged the same as everybody else, and that's according to this statement. Takecare rates that are being charged exorbitantly higher, nearly 70% in comparison to that of other local health insurers. Now, at some point, Francie Salas and I think Eric over at GRMC are going to come up with some kind of a response on this, and then we'll get to watch and see where this goes. And between Kevin and I, it's Kevin Kerrigan, between the two of us, we believe that what is likely to happen here is they're going to take the last known. I don't want to call it good, but the last decent proposal that they managed to sign into a contract and put that back out before the people of Guam. Problem is, there's one less player. You remember Netcare was in there, but Netcare wasn't getting paid, so they vamoosed out of their relationship with the government of Guam because you're not going to pay me. I'm not going to provide the services anymore. Gee, can you blame them? Imagine that. And then a couple of other things that are out there. God, can we do? I didn't really want to get into the crime part, but I got it here now. So let's see what we can do. A guy named Vincent John Meno says he's not guilty in gun possession charges. There's a story that's lingering in one of the, 6 or 7 newspapers I've got in front of me, and I'm looking at this going, and we're supposed to believe him this time. This guy has got a record of busts and convictions going back to 2003. Busted twice in 2005. Couldn't stay out of trouble in 2012. Couldn't stay out of trouble in 2017, 2014. And now, you got the thing. Now he's got another case, and looks like felony possession of a gun without a license, because he's a felon, not allowed to own gun anymore. But he's got one. But he said, I'm not guilty of that, so that's going to be a fun case to get through. There were a couple of other crime pieces that I've actually pasted out because I thought that they were that interesting. Oh, I got just quick riff on this. I'm showing it up on Facebook Live and the YouTube Live. It's a headline from Saturday morning's newspaper that you've seen on Facebook and in your WhatsApp. It's a headline. Somebody from the PDN is getting put back on overnights on the weekend as a result of this.
Yeah. I looked at that and I was like, somebody just lost their job.
Yeah. Man found dead in Jigo, died.
He got died.
Man found dead in Jigo, died. I was looking at because pressure, right? There's pressure. We got to get this newspaper out. We got to, and there's what 5 or 6 words did we drop here? And the really sad thing is there is an actual dead person that's associated with this. But otherwise, the headline, funny as hell, guys. Man found dead in Jigo, died. And thanks very much for the clarity on that. I lost a lot of sleep over that. 888-8255-888-TALK.
PDN rated #1 by pets for bathroom reading.
Glad you like that. Well, I don't know. My buddy Mark Cruz online says, between that and the very clear bias that somebody has got over there for Trump hating and left wing socialist communist articles that these guys, they're just like it's like they're given from the network somewhere over Gannett. They say, here's all of these biased and off balance articles that are of a clear, almost socialist communist bend, and we all hate Trump. Can we just run those? It's rare anymore that you see anything Washington Post, New York Times that these guys are in the same network of are covering. But I after you turn the page a few times, I just stopped reading it.
But maybe they're doing it for shock value. After all, we're talking about them.
It could be. Could be. All right. I was talking about crimes, not crimes in media or crimes by the media, but crimes in general. And there's 2 things that one of them, it was so big I couldn't clip it out. So I just pasted my thing. So I just clipped the whole thing out. Crimes reported by Korean visitors alarming. There's a follow-up on a follow-up that we did with a conversation with Senator Jim Moylan the other day, and he was able to unveil some numbers. According to statistics compiled by the Korean consulate on Guam and released by Senator Jim Moylan, the number of reported crimes and incidents involving Korean visitors grew 118% between 2016 and 17. And then when they looked at the numbers for 17 to 18, up another 100%. Oh, this is alarming. The whole thing with the Japanese numbers, as far as I'm concerned, that has always been a skittish and delicate market. And we have seen over the years, I remember the day after the KAL crash and all of that, thinking it's going to be a while before we start seeing more KAL flights. And it was blossoming. The market was absolutely blossoming for Guam. And then all of a sudden, as if the rug was pulled out from under with that crash. And then it just stopped. And it took a long time to bring those numbers back up to where they are. And so what is scary to me, and I've mentioned this before, is that it might happen with one of these 544,954. I'm sorry, wait a second, those old numbers. 746,987. Korean visitors coming to Guam. It might be that there might be a famous actor, famous actress, famous K-pop singer and his entourage. And these people are as social media as we are, maybe even better. So if something were to happen to a big name Korean celebrity and this guy went out on their version of Facebook and Instagram said, wow, thought Guam was going to be a nice place, but it's island of thieves, ladrones. The Spaniards were right, my God. And then you'll be able to hear the numbers fall off in the marketing. So we need to do something about this and kicking up some of the penalties to be applied might be among them. Certainly better surveillance. Better surveillance. A lot of this is nice because they took the report apart, and we do have some granular numbers here that we can look at. 2.3 crimes against Korean visitors every week. 44% of the robberies or thefts took place in parking lots. They're driving more. They're spending more time in parking lots. They're occupying more spaces in the parking lots. Have you noticed that many of the hotels, places up and down in Tumon, they're starting to get to be tight when it comes to, parking? A lot more spaces are going to be dedicated to the customers of the hotel, tenants of the hotel, as opposed to, just people driving around. Frankly, I am waiting to start to see something that will look and feel like paid parking, like they have in Honolulu, Hawaii. Any minute now, guys. Any minute now, we're going to start to see those automated systems. You'll be pulling up to somebody's hotel, and instead of an attendant, there will be a gate. And just like you see in the States, the gate will go up, and you will drive around in the parking lot until you see a green light over a space, green light indicating that there is an open parking space for you, and then you park. And before you leave the hotel that night, you'll go back through the belly of the parking garage and find what looks like an ATM that will take your credit card and give you a thing that you can put in the machine so you can get out. It would not surprise me if we found out that some of the guys in the game are looking at this. And if it helps them maintain the parking lots, and if it helps them bring in more security to the parking lots, that might be a good thing. Keep our visitors that much more secure. Keep us that much more secure. 33 robberies occurring at tourist attractions. This and 20 at beaches. So 53 or so between tourist attractions and beaches. Now that's something else. Now regular beaches in Tumon, I think they've got people from the hotel security keeping an eye on things. So you got that. But once they get out of Tumon, which many of them are, there's beautiful beaches down Agate Way, down in Rahan Way, down to south, all the way around the island. One of my favorite ones is coming out of Telefofo, right? Just before you get to around where all the Polinos live. They got this little one spot out there. Just it's gorgeous. It's somebody's private property, but I've always wanted to just kind of pull over and hang out in there. But anyway, maybe people aren't going to do that because they know that there are folks lurking nearby that will break into the car while you're taking a selfie against the rocks. This is interesting. 13 crimes against Korean tourists in particular took place at shopping malls or stores. Or are they just complaining about the prices? Could be. I don't know. I'll take another look at this. Incidents at the Dolce Nombre de Maria Cathedral Basilica and at the Paseo de Susana. Really? At the Paseo? Or the Plaza de España? Do you know that the Dolce Nombre de Maria Cathedral Basilica is a block away from a police precinct? What are you telling me? That somebody is going to pick apart and do a crime right there next to the police department?
Hide in plain sight.
There's that. Oh, you good tomorrow now. That's ours. That's a from around here thing. If you want to guarantee you won't get caught, hide in plain sight. 9:28 in the morning, and then the other thing that I thought was riff-worthy here is another clipping out of the newspaper. Last year, the Superior Court of Guam logged 158 charges of felony while on felony release, which made the second most charged serious offense in 2018. I think the first one was criminal sexual conduct against kids. But as a general area of crime, it seems like the number two thing is jugheads that were arrested and then put on some kind of a pretrial release. So that's the number. 2018, they had 158. In 2017, there were 92 felonies. And I'm wondering what we'll be doing in 2019 to prevent those numbers from increasing. And I'll tell you what the answer is. So and make it easy, because it's data, just deep data mining. Take a look at the 158 names from 2018, and then match that up with the names that are on the 2017 list of felony on felony guys. And I'll bet you money, I'll bet you folding dollars, that there are going to be names on the 2018 list and the same names on the 2017 list. It's people that have got that revolving door figured out. And so all we need to do for 2019 to make sure that the numbers actually go down is to identify these people who are on both lists. And from now on, they are not eligible for pretrial release. We let you out one time in 2017, you burned me. Let you out in 2018, you burned me. Well, I don't want to get burned a third time. So if your name appears in the 17 and the 18 rolls, guess what? You have to go to jail. Or, I know they're working on it. They've been working on it for years. Some kind of the ankle bracelet thing that you wear, the GPS deal, so that people know where you are, can surveil you from a distance, safe distance. Anyway, 9:31 in the morning. Those were, I think, a couple of riff-worthy things, and yeah, it worked out for me. Was it good for you too? Tell you what. iConnect time is 9:31. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn about great plans that they have in place for you to enjoy your telecommunications. Maybe, I don't know, what do you want to do? Hit Facebook every once in a while, maybe a thing on Instagram, someplace to put a boomerang. You don't need to have the biggest, most expensive data plan in the world to get that going. Guys over at iConnect have got it figured out, and be happy to talk to you about those plans that they can basically tailor for your specific needs.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take my ex-girlfriend, just checking in.
Aw.
Hey, David, it's me. Just checking in. I'm doing great. Just got the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap from Subway. Creamy guacamole, smoky sweet Wahio mesquite sauce, and double the tender steak. They just know what I want before I do. So, yeah, things are going pretty great for me. Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub. Okay, bye.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and Urgent Care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
Get a free Polar Pop, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a free coffee, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get $5 off any Circle K car wash package when you purchase $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Guess what? Today's going to be the happiest day of your life. This is almost up there with go ahead, eat the chicken skin. Right, according to the scientists, dietitian, nutritionist, or whatever, it's all right to eat the chicken skin. They came out and decided don't bother taking it off the chicken, because when you do that, you're just going to replace it with something that probably has even more calories than the skin that you're trying to replace. Only 25 calories on a drumstick, for heaven's sakes.
Plus, it makes the chicken cold.
Yeah. Right, leave the skin on, would you? No, the happy moment I'm talking about is the governor, Lou Leon Guerrero. Well, I got to spend a few hours with on Saturday night, and it's so neat because even though she's the governor, she still knows how to have a good time. But anyway, so we're all together on Saturday night. I did not realize that they were going to be releasing them, but we used to do a thing that Governor's Weekly Address. But it looks like the communications department over at the governor's office said, weekly, get out of here with that weekly nonsense. Let's just do a monthly one. And so I have the governor's monthly address that I will play for you. Make sure I play it. Okay, Mr. Producer Man? All right, that I will play for you after I'm done yakking with Bob Kelly. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. I just wanted to make a comment to something you talked about last week, and that was all of our visitors who seem to go up to Agana and make a left turn going towards Route 8 instead of going around the loop.
Right.
Okay, when I travel, and I do a lot of travel, and I'm in a strange place, I always depend upon a GPS and Google Maps to get me where I'm going.
Okay.
And I am sure our Korean and Japanese and any other tourists that are independent travelers do the same thing when they rent a car.
You see them on the dashboards. Yeah, you see the phones on the dashboards.
You use Google Maps to go to Senahanya. Now, I know how to get to Senahanya, Ganya Heights, or Jonia from Tamuning, of course. But sometimes I put it on there just to see if there's any traffic blocks. And when I put it on there and I'm driving to, say, Ganya Heights or Senahanya from Tamuning, when I get to that intersection, it tells me to make a left turn. And, I'm sitting there thinking about this poor Korean who reads possibly a little bit of English. It's not his primary language. He's trying to go left. The language, it tells him to go left. There may be a sign that doesn't allow the turn, and he has no idea that there's a circle to the right because that's not on Google Maps. It shows you to turn left.
Yeah. So what do we do? Do we err on the side of of our visitors and finally get around to making that change and making it so they don't have to go all the way around the loop in order to make that left-hand turn, or I don't know. I mean, how do we get back to the people that are in charge of the maps and tell them that they have made a major error that in the very least is an inconvenience for some of the drivers around here, but could, depending on the nature of the driver, road rage, etc. I mean, somebody could try to execute that turn and get themselves in a car crash.
Well, a lot of times they do try because they don't know better. The Google Maps tells them to turn left. They know they want to go to Jonia or to Ganya Heights or down south or whatever, and they don't know about the loop. What's the poor guy for? What would you do in a strange city if you had a Google Maps telling you to make a left turn, but it didn't show you to make a left turn, but that was the only way you knew to go to get to where you're going?
I gun it. I just take a look, and if there's no traffic coming, if it looks like I can make it safely across, I just gun it. And if somebody honks their horn at me, you know what? Watch four finger. Horn is broken.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know, but I do think somehow we need to get back to Google Maps. I don't know if that's a public works thing or what, and let them know that that is not the proper way for that intersection, and we need to get that fixed because a lot of tourists, I would probably bet there'd be hundreds of tourists a day that use Google Maps in Guam, that they're just going to follow what the directions tell them.
Yes, as any traveler would in a strange city.
And that's why we have so many. You point out how more and more people seem like tourists and rent-a-cars are making left turns there. That's the reason.
Yep. Well, there's also this maybe something that some kind of indoctrination that they can give them at the rent-a-car companies. And rent-a-car companies are, in my estimation, probably making some decent money on all of the rentals they've got. Maybe there's a little primer that they could print out, just a couple of notifications. Watch out at this intersection because it doesn't flow the way you think it's going to flow. And tell you what, we ought to put a thing in there about your car is not a safe. Take your valuables out because there are going to be people that know what a rent-a-car looks like, and for them, this might be an easy target.
In the States, and this I know is pretty common now with where I rent from National, they do not market with decals, National Rent-A-Car. They did like 8-10 years ago.
Right.
But you cannot tell. The only thing that kind of sometimes gives it away is I might rent a car in Ohio that's got a Florida license plate on it or something. But other than that, there's no real indication on the rental cars, and they've gotten away from that. That might be a policy that would be good in Guam. I mean, I know everybody likes to advertise their business, but advertising your business is also advertising a potential victim.
I don't disagree with that. I want to say that the genesis of that, somebody will correct me if I get it wrong. I believe the genesis of that was because there were some random shootings of tourists in Florida. And the thing that they all had in common was that they were all rented cars. Everybody knew that they were tourists and that these were rentals, and they were easy targets. And there were actual shootings and murders that took effect as a result of that. And the tour company, not tour companies, the rent-a-car companies began to take off their logos. So anything that would, you're right, previously identified as a rental vehicle were eliminated to make their customers safer.
I wonder why we haven't done that in Guam.
Guys, we'll talk about that because now it's on the radio.
That's why we have the show.
Amen, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Keep it up. Bye.
You know what, Bob Kelly on the radio? 20 away from, 10 o'clock in the morning, right? So this show is almost over. And if you thought maybe you heard something and go, wait a second, I need to hear that again. Is there a way to rewind this show? I think if you're watching live, I think on YouTube, I think there's a way that you can move the navigator back a couple of seconds and rewatch what you might have missed in real time while we do this live. But if it needs be, a couple of things. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I will click off the live stream, and both YouTube and Facebook will take the feed, engross it, and then turn it into a video on demand, so you'll be able to watch it again later on. You know, and I know that there's some of you that are going, wait a second, I might take some time out of my day to watch Game of Thrones, or maybe finish that movie, Ready Player One, on Hulu. Or you know what? Ray was pretty good today. I think I'm going to rewatch his program. And when you do, just a reminder, could you listen to the commercials all over again? Yeah, advertisers paying. I want to get the best value out of this. So, as I said, this is a wonderful day. And it's a wonderful day because it's Monday. And we're finally back at work and away from the rigors of, oh, my God, a busy weekend. And rest up while you can, because we got Mother's Day's coming up this weekend. And Mother's Day, in my mind, is the equivalent of Valentine's, where if there's a mom in your life, the mother of your children for sure, your mother, sisters that are mothers, and daughters that are mothers, guys, you got a lot of work to do, a lot of shopping. Before hold on a second, I had to distract myself. I was at a place yesterday. I was doing some buying, some supplies, and I saw was a nice thing. It's some chocolates, a couple of chocolate bars, and they were using the chocolate bars as kind of a bed for a little plastic thing that said Happy Mother's Day, and it had these little tiny balloons, these little cute balloons. They fill those things up. It's like $25. Wow. I didn't know it was $25, so I put it in my cart, and then the lady comes up and she rings the thing up, and I'm looking at my bill going, why is this so high? And I start looking at all the high-ticket stuff. So there's a 60 bottle of tequila in there, but otherwise everything else was a couple of dollars. Until I get to this thing, it's like $23, $24. And I said, I need you to reverse that part of the transaction. I don't need this right now. And the lady looked at me like, don't you love your mother?
Yeah, like you had committed.
You were going to buy this for somebody. You were going to buy this for a mother in your life. And you didn't, because you don't love them. And I said, you're right. Don't judge me. Take that off. And so I did. Anyway, so I was talking about how busy things are going to get. And I guess what I was trying to get into was the governor's, what used to be a weekly address is now at least for now, a monthly address. And no, Ken, we're not going to put more roundabouts on Guam. I'm not going to be committed to playing this or any other address on a regular basis unless I know that they're always going to be good, always going to be top-notch. You got to have some decent production quality on it. And it can't be longer than I'd say anybody's attention span. And this is talk radio, so your attention span naturally is a little bit longer. And thank God it might be longer than mine. So here's what we'll do. This is kind of an audition. And if this is a good monthly address, a good inaugural thing, then, yeah, we could consider playing it for all time, every month that it comes out during the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. If, on the other hand, it sucks or otherwise ticks me off, then they can keep sending it to me. I don't know that I will have to play it every single time. So with that run-up, ladies and gentlemen, and it already kind of meets one of the first requirements, this is under 5 minutes. So I think that's a good thing in terms of, addresses from the governor to the people of Guam via the radio. Okay, here it is. Go. Kind of a longish intro.
Half a day. For the past few weeks, several events have happened that I think require us to speak about more openly and more often within our community. Burglaries, sexual assaults, child abuse, and traffic fatalities are some of the serious issues that have made recent headline news. We are working to keep our island safe, and public safety is one of the reasons why I chose to run for governor. Now that I've taken office, it continues to be a priority for the Lieutenant Governor and me. Let's be clear, government cannot solve these problems alone, but we will lead the effort. For the past several months, we have taken a second look at the budgets of our law enforcement agencies to find efficiency, savings, and unused federal programs and funding. That scrutiny has resulted in more Guam Police Department officers on patrol. Nearly 30 will be hired within the next month. The same can be said for our Customs Authority, which soon will be hiring an additional 20 officers to protect our borders. Adding more officers on patrol and at our borders helps, but there is much more that needs to happen with all of us to help protect our children, our families, and our properties. In this sense, it will take an island-wide community effort to make and keep our island safe. I applaud and encourage the community watch groups and nonprofit organizations that sacrifice and dedicate their time to care for the most vulnerable on our island. Everyday heroes who selflessly give themselves to this vital cause, like Victims Advocates Reaching Out, Healing Hearts, Erica's House, Child Protective Services, GPD's Domestic Assault Response Team, and their recently launched Stranger Danger program. I was very encouraged by the hundreds of people who participated in the Enough campaign to raise awareness of sexual assault. The more people know about this and other crimes perpetrated on our citizens, the more we are able to address and to stop these crimes from happening in the first place. We have already taken some steps to help families deal with the challenges that crime produces. In our 2020 proposed budget, we will hire more social workers, and we will work with the legislature to keep this initiative funded. Our administration is also working toward improving our justice system as a whole, collaborating with all branches of our government. In fact, Lieutenant Governor Josh and I will be meeting with parents, students, teachers, and our community at Liguan Elementary School to get their feedback on ways we can improve school safety. This is part of a program launched a few weeks ago in partnership with the Guam Department of Education, Guam Police Department, Behavioral Health, Public Works, and Homeland Security, called the School Safety Partnership. We want you to share with us your concerns and your ideas on ways we can better protect our children from all forms of abuse. Safety is a priority for our administration. While we are taking these steps to make our community a safer place for everyone, I want to thank each of you for doing your part to help us with this island-wide effort, for speaking out when you see something, for calling 911 or Crime Stoppers, even if it is to report on a family member. We all need to do our part to make Guam a better place, and I want to thank those of you who are helping us to do so. Whether you work in the government, the private sector, or as an observant member of a neighborhood watch group. As they say, it takes a village to be safe. On Guam, it takes 19 villages. Sidu'us Ma'asi for being part of our village effort. God bless you and your families, and God bless Guam.
Yeah. That's fine. Okay, those clapping, that's coming from the guy, from the producer. They didn't actually have the communications team. Okay, you did.
No, they had an in-studio audience. They actually.
That would be fun. Can we do that? Every once in a while, we also get to a point where everybody's so busy. Once upon we've actually done what was back in those days, the governor's weekly address or speaker's weekly address in the actual studio. It was bring him by the radio station. Yeah, and I recall at the time that there were people just, other media that hated it. Come, you're letting him do that on Ray's show. You don't do that with us. Because it's me. So there's the governor's address. Takeaways? I got at least one message from somebody in the offline in my WhatsApp said snooze fest and Lou needs better writers. What do you think? I did get Nate Horn in the program says under 5 minutes, good for short attention spans. But what about the content, guys? Said ponder what she talked about there. You know what? I'm thinking about something now. I'm not entirely sure I was allowed to play that. It came in and said it was embargoed, but I don't know. I know it was embargoed through today, but I'm not sure what time.
Oops.
I can't be trusted to follow instructions. It's 10 away from 10 o'clock in the morning. I can be trusted to give you a nearly accurate time from time to time. On the way back, we'll figure out how we're going to kill the next 10 minutes of talk radio.
GRMC's Neuroscience and Neurology Department treats a wide spectrum of disorders associated with the nervous system, spine, and brain. Some of the more common disorders include seizures, epilepsy, dementia, sleep disorders, migraine, and stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC's neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and the finest neurological doctors. To make an appointment, contact GRMC Specialty Clinics at 645-5500.
Let's see now. Fast, easy, affordable. That's the best way to describe my home loan at Bank Pacific. Fast because we give quick decisions. Easy because we've cut back on the paperwork. Affordable because today's home loan rates are still so low. So see us today to refinance or consolidate or to buy or build your new home and save yourself some money.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on the Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Ray Gibson, never heard of him. Man, he's the guy who leaves his credit cards all over the place. And business cards. Order them by the hundreds. Anyway, at 9:52 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK. We don't always do birthday announcements, but I feel compelled to do a couple here in the right now. A name that you might not recognize, but if you saw her face, you'd go, oh, yeah, her. Celebrating Rebecca Elmore. Didn't you used to work with her? You worked with her once upon a time, right?
Yeah, she went to work over at DOG.
Yeah. Was she easy on the eyes? Good reporter?
No, she's a good girl, yeah. She was real gung-ho, just getting started, and smart girl. Wow, smart.
And so happy birthday to Rebecca Elmore today. Who else have I got? Angela Rosario has got a birthday today. I don't know why it says in your Facebook how old you are, but I will say you don't look anywhere near that number. My fast hiking buddy Seth Horton is celebrating a birthday today. Very nice to acknowledge your birthday. Hope you do something fun tonight. I got Joe Mendiola got a birthday. Lagrimas Lujan has got a birthday. Nice to see you there. Tai baby, we need to have party over at Tai. Talk to the old man about that. Amir Yunus from the Marianas Variety is celebrating a birthday today. Actually, the family's from around there. And another big hiking fan on Guam, Kaylee Brown, is having a birthday. So if you know any of these folks, then say that Ray Gibson remembered them on their birthday today, because I remember everybody's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
Here, people that Ray is mentioning on the radio.
Happy birthday to you.
And there's a Brian St. Nicholas got a birthday, not that one, the other one. So keep track of all of that stuff. If you just hit Facebook, usually about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they start putting together the list of people that got birthday in there. All right, so what have I got through on the table of content? Let me just quickly go from the bottom up, because the stuff on the top I've already talked about. So from the bottom up, GWA to share their 5-year plan. Yes, that's going to be taking place Where's the email? I have it here. Guam Water Works Authority and Consolidated Commission on Utilities have released the draft GWA 5-year financial plan and capital improvement projects. If you want to find out how much this is going to nick your water bill, then you need to be in attendance at one of 3 different town halls that they're having. One tonight at 6 at the Gloria B. Nelson Public Service Building in Manila. Basically, it's the utility compound up there. Tomorrow, Agate Mayor's office at 6. And on the 9th, that's Thursday, they will have another one 6 until 7 at the Gigo Mayor's office. If you want to know a little bit more about what's going to be talked about, I did have Miquel Bordallo on the radio this morning about 6:30 or something like that. And so go through the video on demand and find that, and you'll be able to hear what he had to say about some of that stuff. I mean, there are some new regulatory we were able to ask for, set-asides and exemptions over the years, but EPA is saying that they're no longer going to be letting us do that. So guess what? Gee, I guess we're going to have to get to our secondary treatment and do all of that stuff. And they're going to be working on their collection system, which I thought it was their collection system from, going after people that don't pay for their water bill. But apparently they refer to their collection system as all of the different ways that we get talky water from your house into GWA. And those of you on the septic systems, you don't have to worry about that. Those of you that are part of the sewer systems, yeah, you know what that is. What is that? Another $25 a month, $24 a month for the privilege of having a conduit from your toy out to the wastewater treatment plants. That's the collection systems that he was talking about. Anyway, so interesting conversation to the degree that it makes any kind of difference. You know how it is with the utilities. We're going to do a town hall, and we're going to tell you all the work that we're going to be doing, and then we'll show you, working with the PUC over the course of X days, weeks, and months, how much this is going to impact your pocket and your wallet and your purse. And it never impacts it. They very rarely ever say, hey, you know what, we were looking at the numbers, and we figured out how to make the meter go backwards. So not going to cost you so much to have these systems in place. You know that they've already issued their 5-year plan on increased rates. We talked about that a month ago. Of course, everybody forgot that because they got into the brouhaha, the flap over the illegal pay raises. Miguel was also critical of that conversation. He says, dude, it's not like we were trying to do something in secret. We were already in executive session. We should have gabbled out into that, but we didn't, and it's the chairman's fault. It's not like we were trying to hide something. So there. That's what he said about that. I know, the conspiracy theorists abound, saying they wouldn't have said anything. They would not have said anything had they not been caught red-handed. How does that happen? And to a point that Ken LG has made before, yeah, you know what, guys? It ain't going to make that much difference at all. And give you the ones and twos on that because they're going to get together on the 10th, according to Ken Leon Guerrero. And in this meeting that they're going to be having on the 10th, they will resume the conversation, though this time they will do it in a public forum. And any of the raises and the bonuses that they gave out last time that they were told to give back, they're just going to go ahead and re-roll those things. It'll be public, and they'll gavel out, and done is going to be done. I was waiting for, as many people were, because we were told late last week that there was going to be a whole bunch of 2018 checks going out today. That might not be the case. We talked with Daphne. It certainly hasn't happened yet, but it's still early. It's barely 10 o'clock in the morning. So there is the possibility. And if you want to know if it's going to happen, what you do is you download a copy. It's free, of the Guam Daily Post app. And once you get the app in your phone, if there is an alert, like your tax refund check is going to be in the mail today, they'll let you know about it. And one of the great features of that is push messaging is what that's called. And one of the things, we didn't have a chance to really riff on it yet. And frankly, I'm glad we didn't, because I got a link last week to the as-passed version of the rules and regulations for gambling at the House of Cards and at the Games of Chance over at the Carnival. But you know how I am. If it's Friday, after about 10:01 in the morning, I become the laziest guy in the world because I know that I don't have to think until Monday morning at 5:59, and that's what happened. So I didn't get a chance to print that out and read the whole thing chapter and verse. But now that we're back in weekday mode, maybe I could do that here in a couple of minutes at 10:01 on a Monday morning. Hey, Mother's Day's coming up, but even more important than that, Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode number 4, sometime today. We will not talk about it for a couple of days on the radio, and then after that, the cone of silence will be lifted. Let's see what happens, see if your predictions come true. We're KUSG Agana, headquarters for Fox News Live. It's still Sunday in the mainland, so we got some lightweight weekend kind of programs that we're going to throw in your direction. Right-wing bomb throwers back tomorrow at 10. Here it is, Fox News.
A deadly emergency landing. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. Russian officials saying at least 40 people were killed when a plane burst into flames while landing at an airport in Moscow.
The fire reportedly broke out when the plane was in the air on its way to the northern city of Murmansk. It was forced to turn around after takeoff and made a hard landing, already on fire. Some initial reports from flight tracking websites that we've confirmed suggest that the pilot looped around once over the airport before attempting to land a second time. 73 passengers and 5 crew members were on board that plane.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. President Trump changing course on the possibility of special counsel Robert Mueller appearing before Congress.
As recently as Friday, the president said he would not get in the way of the special counsel